Not Drew. He'll be filling in. He's doing double duty, but it's young. He's a multitasker. And we will be busy today. This is a great day, really. This is not a sports story, but it is a news Memphis story that I am just so happy about. When you think of the positives of Memphis, there's many things you could think about. I mean, if you're a Tiger fan, you love your university. We know the biggest employer besides the government is FedEx. Those are really positive things. But I think when we think about contributions to the world, literally, we think, and thank our lucky stars, that we have St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Today, I don't know if you saw this story. It just happened a little bit ago. St. Jude has committed to their largest strategic investment in all of the nearly 6 decades they have been here.
Wow.
They are investing through 2027 $11.5 billion to accelerate the research and treatment of cancers. They want to globally accelerate and find cures for cancer throughout the world. They will be doing that here. They will be adding 1,400 new jobs. They will be adding buildings to their campus. And we are talking basically from now until 2027, an investment of $11.5 billion, not million, not 100 million, $11.5 billion. That, to me, is mind-boggling. You think about this, and I was talking with somebody who worked there, not at the very beginning, not 60 years ago or 59 years ago, I think it was, that St. Jude was started by Danny Thomas and the group that is the fundraiser, ALSAC. But fairly early on, they decided that they would have to come up with $1 million a month in order to really be sustainable and to have the model that they want where no kid ever has to pay, where you go and you're free and the drugs are free and all the research is free and the hotel where your parents are going to stay is going to be free. I mean, it's amazing, right? Nobody else does this in the world, by the way, only St. Jude. $1 million a month. Now, and I have no idea where this $11.5 billion is coming from, but now I know they raise $3 million a day. And think about this. They do that with an average donation of a little over $30 per donation. Wow. $3 million a day on that. And this is above and beyond because $11.5 billion, my goodness. ALSAC, just thinking about this, we know the miracle that St. Jude is when it comes to science. It's also, in my mind, a miracle when it comes to what ALSAC does and their fundraising. That is amazing. So that is incredible news.
It is incredible news, and I know that St. Jude and ALSAC was hit by COVID-19 just like any other business worldwide. I had a few friends that unfortunately had to be let go due to financial situations with both St. Jude and ALSAC. So it's a great thing to see them fully recover and become back to what they were before the pandemic and now further their scientific research and the help that they give to thousands and millions of children and their families, not just here in Memphis, but worldwide. And with that introduction of those, I think you said 1,400 or 14,000?
1,400 new jobs.
1,400 new jobs. It is great it's a complete 180 from where we were sitting this time last year.
That's it. I had forgotten that there were ALSAC layoffs. I don't know if there were scientific layoffs, but I know there were fundraising layoffs.
I had a good 3 old college friends, fraternity brothers that had to get that were unfortunately laid off.
Were they in ALSAC or were they actually?
They were in ALSAC, and
okay.
I believe I heard a story about a nurse or a few nurses that I don't know if they were fully laid off, but hourly cuts had to be cut back just to try to find room in the budget so that St. Jude could continue to live out the goal that they said of no parent and child and patient ever pays a dime.
Well, Richard Shadiak and Emily Greer, they are amazing people because they're the ones that head up AllSac.
Mm-hmm.
And this $11.5 billion. That is absolutely incredible, and that is just it is wonderful. All these smart people, 1,400 new smart people, will be coming to Memphis. So that really is something else. I mentioned the feel good stories, and I mentioned the University of Memphis, and they got good news today too. I don't know if you saw this. This is not necessarily sports, but everybody who is an alum will have
Very
a great
proud alum
deal
myself.
of pride. And so I imagine you're going to love this today. And I saw this because Dr. Rudd tweeted it out just a little bit ago. The U of M ranked in the top 4.9% in the world university rankings. So they, I guess, somehow measure this world university ranking. They somehow measure 19,788 universities.
That's a lot of learning.
The U of M is in the top 4.9% of those rankings. U.S. News and World Report ranks them, and I guess that's just in the country. 126, they are the number 2 public institution in the state of Tennessee.
Wow, that is phenomenal. As a proud alumni, it does make me feel good. I think everybody who attended the University of Memphis knows what kind of academic standards they set over there on main campus and south campus of the University of Memphis. But it's good that it's finally being recognized, not just nationally, but as you said, globally, what the University of Memphis truly is as an academia place in the city.
Well, just look what has been built in the last 5 to 10 years. It is growing.
Cranes are going up.
So that's it. I always loved that John Calipari story. He used to say, you want to see how a school is doing? Just count the cranes that are on the campus. If they got a lot, they're doing well. Otherwise, they got to rethink things. Speaking of the university sports-wise, no transfers today in the portal. Like, I don't know, is that the first time in a week or two?
Seems about right.
Yeah, it does seem right. But we do have some news. I did not realize when the story was breaking yesterday, got verification, that Tyler Harris is coming to the University of Memphis at basically no cost to the university. He is a walk-on.
Wow.
So at this moment, with Cisse, who did enter the transfer portal, I can't remember.
Late last night. Yeah.
So that was news that we did not have on.
We did not.
Speculated on it. Right.
It happened, I think, broke around like 6:37.
Okay.
It happened a little bit after we got off the air.
And we were, oddly enough, talking about the value of Moussa Cisse yesterday to the team. And I can't remember who we were having that discussion with. Oh, it was David Cobb.
Yeah.
And Cobb really valued Moussa. And I said, well, I'm not sure. And at this point, we didn't know he wasn't coming back. But I said, I don't value him in the same way. There is an upside potential. It certainly wouldn't have hurt Memphis if he had come back. But I don't think it hurts them, honestly, that he doesn't. If Onu is that same kind of player and is better offensively.
And has better hands, hopefully.
Well, that I am going to assure you will be the case, then there's not going to be any minutes issues. You know, it seemed to me, and I never really asked Penny about this, I might in retrospect, but it seemed to me that Penny had obligated himself to start Moussa every game. Because clearly, as the season went on, Moussa was not deserving of starting every game. There was no doubt in my mind down the stretch that playing DeAndre Williams at the 5 or going small ball, that was a lot more effective than it was with Cisse, who had started. And you couldn't play Moussa at the end of games because they were going to foul him. And then he was going to hit 1 out of every 3 free throws that he took. And that's what he did. He actually hit under 1 out of 3 free throws out of every 1 that he took. And he turned the ball over because he couldn't quite hold on to it. And that's not to say he's not going to be a strong, improved player at some point. But as long as you can play the small ball with positionless players like Memphis has, and as long as you have another guy that could be exactly like him, only better offensively, in Onu, and don't forget Malcolm Dandridge, because I believe Malcolm can be a really solid player. I think he's going to be a good player. He's
improved over the last
he
couple
just
of years.
had to get healthy and believe that his legs would stay healthy. And, he had moments where he was really good. Unfortunately, he was just very inconsistent with those moments. But I certainly think he's worthy of another year of seeing how much better he can get, because I think there could be a lot of improvement there. I just don't believe the Moussa Cisse loss is at all damaging.
I don't think it is either, and I don't think the majority of the fan base really thought it was when the news came out that he was going to not hire an agent but going to test the waters of the NBA draft. You didn't really hear a lot of uproar from the fan base saying, "Oh no, please come back! Like we're building something special. You're a huge part of that," on social media and on Twitter. Most people just kind of are like, I don't see him being an NBA player. I mean, if you can get a team to take a gamble on you, go ahead for it. But it really didn't move the scale like we've seen other transfers or other guys entering the NBA after their freshman year. The hands and the turnovers were the biggest thing for me. While he gave you good productivity on defense, I don't think that he was the glue that kept that defense going. He wasn't Lester Quinones. Lester Quinones was the general on the defensive side of the ball. Moussa Cisse was good defensively down low, had a lot of block shots, I believe led the conference in block shots last year as a freshman.
He had about 1.5 per game, so if you look at other top-notch shot blockers in the history of the school, those numbers that he put up last year would not be as good.
They wouldn't be, but it's still 1.5 blocks a game is still 1.5.
And he might have gotten better.
He
might have gotten better with time, and he probably – well, here my guess is this. I don't know if it's Onu that he was worried about, or that Memphis might play small ball, or that Penny said, well, we'll take you back, but we're not guarantees. We're not starting you every game now. You're going to have to earn your minutes. You're going to have to be a much better free throw shooter. And so my suspicion is he's already tested the water.
Yes.
Maybe his group, his handlers, whatever we're calling the folks that are directing him.
Advisors?
Advisors, that's good. I think they've already found out he's not going into the NBA, and I suspect that they probably found out he's not getting money from the G League Elite either. Maybe that's wrong. Certainly he's not going in the NBA. But I think when he announced yesterday he was entering the transfer portal.
Yes.
That would tell me he's not going to the G League Elite, because I don't, and he's certainly not going to the NBA. We knew that one. I thought maybe there'd be a chance he could get some money out of the G League Elite, but apparently they saw enough last year to figure out where this kid is, and then he needs to go back, and they don't want to pay for his development. They'll let the schools pay for his development. So he's going to go.
Why pay for something when you get it for free?
He's going to go somewhere else. And the original rumors, I have no idea if this is accurate either, but the original rumors are that he was going to be an LSU guy, because it came down to Memphis and LSU. And that the LSU offer was still there, and maybe they can develop him further along than Memphis this past year was able to do. We shall see about that. But the most interesting aspect of all of this for me today was the knowledge that there are still 2 scholarships available. Memphis has 11 players under scholarship. They're going to have 13. They can still get a big man and a point guard if they so choose, or they could save those for later next year if they think they have enough quality players now, because you can't play 14 guys. So they got 14 guys as it stands. They've got the 11 scholarship players, and they've got Jaden Hardaway as a walk-on at the moment. Tyler Harris as a walk-on at the moment, and Connor Glennon.
Connor Glennon, yeah.
As a walk-on at the moment. So at this point, there are 14 players, 11 on scholarship. And the news, which I think was pretty interesting, Tyler Harris wanted to come back to Memphis. There is no doubt, and he accepted the terms that, one, he's going to have to make his way with minutes. He's not going to be guaranteed anything, apparently. And two, you're a walk-on.
Yeah, it was a little surprising to hear that. Like you said, we still do have 2 open scholarships, and ultimately transfer portal can stay open. I believe David told us until early July is when they have to officially tell the NCAA where they will be attending school and obviously enrolling in classes. So we've got plenty of time to fill those, and with the portal slowly starting to slow down and kind of everybody finding their place, hopefully if there is more additions, it would be sooner rather than later. And I wonder about those 2 scholarships with Tyler coming back. If for some reason those aren't filled, does Penny then give Tyler the scholarship? Was that kind of an agreement? Say, hey, if we don't fill these 2, then you're in, but it's no guarantee that you'll be on scholarship come August.
I'm not sure Jaden Hardaway isn't the first one in the pecking order right now to regain a scholarship. So all of that is up for grabs.
While being a scholarship player, I mean, it means something saying that you went to school on scholarship. Ultimately, it is a financial benefit. And when you kind of look at who Jaden Hardaway's father is, it kind of understands why he is a walk-on that does play minutes for the Tigers, because financially, a college education isn't a big burden for the Hardaway family.
No, and I think as an employee of the university, I think you get half off.
Pretty big discount, yeah.
But I'm not sure, seriously, in the pecking order, it may be the first one that would receive the scholarship, if there is one to be had, might be Jaden.
It might.
So we'll have to wait and see how all of that plays out. We got a busy show for you. We'll talk Grizzlies, and that's coming up in Top and Not Top Story 2. Ron Tillery, the original beat writer of the Grizzlies, he'll join us here in about 10 minutes or so. Then Brent Beard, and a lot of college information coming your way. His notes are out for the week. We'll talk football and basketball with him. Then Bo Marchant, the NFL draft on Thursday. I'm sure he's got a lot of insight as to what is going to happen in that regard. And today there's all kind of interesting collecting stories. LeBron's rookie card went for $5.2 million today, and the Golden State Warriors, they are the first professional team to have a non-fungible token collection, NFT, non-fungible token. What exactly is that? Is that like cryptocurrency, which I have no concept of?
I don't understand any of it.
I don't quite understand it, but I know someone who does. My financial analyst from Raymond James in Chicago, his name is Ben Cohen. He'll join us at 5:30 today, and he'll explain exactly what NFT is all about. So if you're curious, and now I think all these, I didn't realize this, the NBA has made $500 million off of a platform selling through this sort of NFT stuff, selling highlights, where a guy buys it, okay, and then he sells it to, he gets bored, he's seen it, he sells it like I sell it to you. You pay whatever profit I get out of it, the league gets, say, 10% out of it. $500 million the league has made off selling highlights from this platform this past year. So this is interesting stuff. According to the Golden State Warriors, it's the wave of the future. We'll find out what that wave is coming your way at 5:30.
This hour of our show brought to you every day by the one and only Lexus dealership in town. That is Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-362-8833. Lexus of Memphis offering the Golden Opportunity April sales event. Great offers on all 2021 models and always great leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2021 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design they make for the luxury driving experience. 901-362-8833. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, that is last night the Grizzlies looked like a team ending a road trip, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
They had tired legs. It was the third game in 4 nights. It was the second of a back-to-back. I'm not sure I've seen this poor shooting from Memphis in forever. Even during the grit and grind when they hardly took threes, they made 4 threes out of 32 attempts last night. 4 of 32, if I do my math correctly, Drew Barrett, that's 12%.
That it is.
These are pros. These are guys that have been hitting their threes. This is a team that has made over 100 points most of the time this year, first time in a long time. They didn't get to 100, so they got their hat handed to them in Denver. And the sad part about all that is that now everybody's in play all the way to 10.
It's anybody's
7,
game.
8, 9, and 10 are all bunched together. You really want 7. You've got a bunch of games at home now. And here's Portland, a team you could sweep. But you got to beat them at home tomorrow night. It becomes every game now becomes so incredibly important. It'll be interesting to me to see the approach that Taylor Jenkins makes. Will he be experimenting, or will he lock in on 8 or 9 guys? Will Tyus Jones sit the bench? Is Justice Winslow now your backup point guard? All these things have to be figured out. And will he really look at rotations to try to get the most advantage in the playoffs? Or will he continue to try to see, in particular, what Justice Winslow is all about? And when will they start Jaren Jackson? All those things are pressing questions as you come down the stretch close to the playoffs.
A lot of questions that will hopefully be answered here very shortly for the Grizzlies. That's my top story. The Grizzlies, they have finished their tough 7-game road trip with a record of 4-3. I think at the beginning of the road trip, we all would have signed up for winning 4 out of 7. But now that it's over, it almost feels a little disappointing not being 6-1.
I agree.
Through the 7 games, the loss to the Nuggets in double overtime, the loss to the fake Clippers, 4-3, which would have been monumentally great when it all started. After we've seen it played out, it's disappointing. I mean, 4-3 is better than 0-7, but you had a really, really good chance of being 6-1.
You probably should have been 6-1. The loss last night, end of the trip, all those games, yeah. And Denver is good.
They are
good. But you should have beaten Denver the first time. There's no question about that. What's disappointing about last night in particular was that that's the first time everybody was healthy. I think there was no injury for not playing a guy. It was coach's decision.
Time, yeah.
Right. And crazy. But as you said, that's understandable. But that could have been a 6-1 road trip instead of 4-3. And if it was 6-1, they'd be sitting in 6th place today, not sweating being the 10th seed in the play-in.
Not top story of the day.
Well, that has to do with the vaccinations. And Shelby County now has 33% of the population with at least one shot. And, you remember we were looking and we thought the United States population was 65%. Mm-hmm. I haven't double-checked that, see where it is. But the state of Tennessee is only at 34%. So the state is only 1% higher than Shelby County. I guess all I'm saying is, because now the governor is asked to take masks off. He's saying drop the mask mandate. But Shelby County leaders are reluctant to do that, especially because only 33% of Shelby County has been vaccinated. I say, let's get vaccinated to take those masks off. That's my sense.
My not top story of the day, it's baseball and their wacky craziness that is Major League Baseball. And more importantly, the Pioneer League, an independent league designated by Major League Baseball Partners League, announced today that it will implement a first-of-its-kind knockout rule that will be resolving games tied after the ninth inning with a sudden death home run derby. Under the rule, each team's designates a hitter who receives 5 pitches, with the game determined by the most home runs hit. And if it is still tied after the first knockout round, another hitter is selected for a sudden death home run face-off until a winner is declared. In addition to the knockout rule, the league is also experimenting with a designated pinch hitter rule, allowing a player to be pinch hit for before returning to their defensive position for the remainder of the game. Additionally, a designated pinch runner rule allows an eligible roster player to be pinch run for before returning to their designated defensive position for the remainder of the game. So if you know anything about softball, that's basically softball rules. Everybody gets basically a new re-enter, and it doesn't mean that they go exactly in at that slot in the lineup, which I've learned a lot this week, this last couple of months, especially last weekend against Central Florida, because they did it 20 times a game.
So basically, you're the left fielder.
Yes.
And you bat 3. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now you're substituted for.
Yes.
You can come back into the game at a different position in a different lineup spot.
So here's how it works. So left fielder hits. All right, they get pinch ran for. Pinch run, inning over. He goes back to left field, or he can go back to any position whatsoever. The pinch runner then can go into the field for somebody else, not the first player that they were substituted in, at a different spot in the lineup. And you can also, I still can't fully wrap my head around it. It worked in softball over the weekend, but at one point I believe I had one player hitting 2 different spots in the lineup just from all the substitutions, the pinch runs. It does get a little confusing if you're trying to keep a scorebook. There's a lot of lines through, a lot of arrows almost.
I'm going to be doing that on Friday and Saturday with your guidance. I'm hopeful.
I'll do my best.
This is new for me. The most interesting aspect of that is not those other rules. It is the home run derby to end a ball game. And I'm assuming that you get your own pitcher to pitch to your guy, because you're not trying to get him out. You're just trying to throw it to a spot with velocity so that he can have the proper launch angle to knock the heck out of the ball and knock it out of the ballpark. I mean, what happens if each guy gets 2 home runs? I mean, you could go through 15 guys.
You really could.
Is this really going to end that quickly?
I don't think it will. It's too quirky for me.
I got a feeling that one is not going to hold. There's only one rule I like out of this whole thing. It's the double hook. And you are up to date. Those are the top and the not top stories. We are underway, and Ron Tillery, the original Grizzlies beat writer on last night and a whole lot more. He comes your way in a minute.
Same great shows.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays.
What's up? It's Sports 56 Happy Hour.
A new spot on the FM dial. Check out Sports 56 on our new FM home at 98.5.
Jeff Allen, my man, what's happening over at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
All I can say, Randy, it's the right time to buy your new Kia at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah. I've got a 2021 Kia Forte, 41 MPG, or $129 a month lease, just $31.99 due at signing. And a 2021 Kia Soul, $159 per month lease, $30.99 due at signing.
And I see you got 2021 Kia K5, built in America, $184 a month lease, $30.99 due at signing. They're all 36-month leases.
Plus our industry-leading 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty program. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, and let's not forget Senatobia, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia Mount Moriah, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
All 36-month leases, 0 security deposit, $650 acquisition fee, Forte, ME344-837, MSRP $20,655, sold M777-2135, MSRP $21,130, K5 MG 005560, MSRP $25,725, 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage, includes all manufacturer rebates and incentives, PF $695, excludes tax title and license with approved credit, warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/30/2021, dealer stock only.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Upgrade your commute at Acura of Memphis. Seize the thrill and test drive one of our award-winning models, each packed with cutting-edge technology, luxurious amenities, and a driving experience that's sure to awaken your inner self. Driving shouldn't be a chore, it should be an adventure. Advance your drive today, shop our aggressive lease and finance options now. Luxury is waiting at Acura of Memphis, or shop online 24/7. Visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stat. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Wolochen and Brett Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. Cruising the Show, hour number one here in the Family Leisure Studios. What a day it is out there in the 80s. Now you're thinking pool, aren't you? Don't let this summer go by and you're too late to get your pool. You've been thinking about it. You want it. Get it now. Man, make your move. Get to I-40 and Whidden Road. Go see my guys at Family Leisure. Don't miss out because they sold out last year. Same thing with spas. They're in stock now, ready for delivery. The patio furniture is all lining up now. There are some that are select sets that are up to 20% off. And I always say this, it's true. The more patio furniture you have in your yard, the more inviting it is to just go out there and use it. You will love it. And you can swing in a spring with a brand new play gym. Professional installation is available, and I always recommend you do that with the young kids. Let the pros put it in. It'll be safe, and your kids will have something they will use for years. All you got to do is get to, as I say, I-40 and Whidden Road, Family Leisure, where family and fun all come together. This day of the week, this particular moment, I always enjoy because I love chatting with a young man from the south side of Chicago, the original beat writer of your Memphis Grizzlies. That would be the one and only Ron Tillery. Ron, last night, that looked like a tired Grizzlies team coming off the longest road trip in the history of the franchise. I bet you were saying to yourself, I'm glad I'm not doing this anymore because you would have been gone for, 13 days?
Yeah, I tell you what, Wolo, good afternoon, guys. I think the longest trip we ever had when I was on the beat was 6 games out on the West Coast. And I split it with my then backup writer, Marlon Morgan.
I remember. What's Marlon Morgan doing now?
He's a SID assistant at a small college in North Carolina.
Okay.
I'm not really sure, but I'm pretty sure I'm accurate in that description. Yeah. But no, he did 3 games and I did 3 games. And Tony Baroni was the coach. And, yeah, they went out for 6 games on the West Coast. That was the longest in the 17 years that I did the Grizzlies.
That is quite a long trip, Ron. I mean, just that many days on the road. And you can understand with them being gone so long, the performance that they had last night. Look, just after that brutal road trip, last leg, you're just kind of drained from it. Finish the trip 4-3, but after watching it, and I think before we all would have taken 4-3, but after watching it, isn't it a little disappointing that it wasn't 6-1?
Well, I just think in the course of a long NBA season, you get some games that you're probably not supposed to win, and then you get some that you just rise up and go get. And I just believe that this was a very successful road trip. And I think it's funny that we're not really talking about how difficult the trip was at the end as much as we were talking about how difficult it was at the beginning. Saying that, winning cures all. You got to go play the game. And the Grizzlies did a tremendous job of going out on the road and winning as many games as they could, putting themselves in a position to win. They had no business winning that Portland game on Sunday, by the way, but they came out and they just absolutely outworked the Trailblazers at full strength and without Jaren. So I think they did a tremendous job, and they're just setting themselves up to not fall back in this the 9 to 10 playoff spot. Yeah.
I truly I would have taken 3 and 4 when this trip was first being approached, but because of the way they played early on and gave away a couple of games, I thought it could have been 6 and 1. You're right. The Portland game on Sunday could have gone the other way. So maybe 5 and 2 would have been a fairer thing. You weren't going to win last night. Not when it was the third game in 4 days, the second of back-to-back. I mean, they were exhausted mentally, and Denver is trying to secure their position. They're not messing around with any games, and there's no doubt that Jokic is trying to become the MVP. I mean, every time he touches the ball, they scream that in the Denver arena, and that just sort of spurs him on. The thing that I'm starting to wonder about, and let's just sort of go over what the Grizzlies are now 31 and 29, right? 2 games over 500. They are in 8th place, but they're now tied with the San Antonio Spurs there, and the Warriors in the 10th position are only half a game behind them. You look all the way to 6, Dallas is there. Now, Dallas is really only 2 games ahead of the pack. So you're basically saying between Dallas, Portland, Memphis, San Antonio, and Golden State, 5 teams, there's only 2 games between them. Now, you're not going to fall out of a play-in because the Pelicans are at this point 4.5 games behind you.
They're
with
pretty done.
13 games to go. I mean, that would just be total disaster. I don't think that's going to happen. But all those other positions, and 6 still, is a possibility. But you got to win a lot of these games. My question for you is, when do you sort of stop experimenting? When do you go back to starting Jaren Jackson and playing him 25 to 28 minutes a game? When do you decide who your backup point guard's going to be? Is it going to be Winslow? Or, you took Tyus Jones, who was, I thought, playing very well as a backup. I'm not saying he's been great the last 2 or 3 weeks, but he was certainly still a guy you could count on. And if you just demoted him, he's out of the picture.
Well, to answer your first question about Jaren, you go back to him in the starting lineup immediately. I mean, because what have we been saying, guys, for the last several weeks? Whenever Jaren comes back, you know exactly what you're getting. And he has been spectacular in limited minutes because you know exactly what you're getting. The chemistry with him and Ja has been amazing. So I don't think you wait any longer to put him back in the starting lineup. And then to your point about the coaching with Jenkins, now you got to settle in. And, you can't be diddly-daddling around with Melton, and I'm not all that sold on some of those other guys that you mentioned. But and then you got to shorten the rotation. That's if you want to be a playoff contending team. If you want to develop and play 10 people throughout the regular season, that's fine. But they're in a position now where they can make a move, and I don't really think a lot of these teams in the upper echelon of the Western Conference want to see the Grizzlies because they're young and dangerous. And so you only have 12 or 13 games left.
13.
13. So you got to settle in on something, and I think they got to start Jaren, and they got to figure out how possibly Anderson comes off the bench, how much DeAnthony Melton means to them. So I think the time is now to answer your question succinctly.
I think you're spot on with that. My question, this is a tough question. Not that we're trying to second-guess Taylor Jenkins here, but if you were him, what would your rotation be? How would you go?
Well, obviously they've established a pecking order in terms of who they can rely on. I mean, I think Justice Winslow has really come on strong the last week or so. He's finding his shot. He's finding where to get his shot. He's finding a way to play with the other guys, whereas he came out of the gate just really ugly. But I think he's coming along.
So do you bench Tyus Jones for him?
Well, yeah. I don't think Tyus Jones has established himself to the point where he is earned anything. I mean, I think what Taylor Jenkins has been faced with was trying to figure it out, and so some of these guys, in the context of what we're talking about, some of these guys just have to be ready. And Tyus Jones has got to be one of those guys. Like, okay, you're not going to play a lot tonight. Be ready. And, I just go back to a lot of the playoff games when, like, say, Mike Conley got in foul trouble, and they just had to play the heck out of Gravis Vasquez.
Yeah.
Gravis was ready.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how these young guys have to look at it. But Taylor Jenkins has to set the tone in terms of this is our pecking order, this is who we're using. But it has to be an organizational decision because clearly the front office are pulling strings and pushing buttons in terms of who they want to develop. So if they are truly wanting to be in playoff contention, they got to shorten the rotation. They got to decide on who they want to use. If they don't, then they can keep going as forward, just developing guys on a whim.
And with the front office, and we've talked about it all season long, how ahead of schedule this Grizzlies team is. Sitting where they are now, are they still ahead of schedule, or should the schedule catch up to them because they are in a good position to make a playoff run, or maybe not a playoff run, but at least make the playoffs?
I think they still are ahead of schedule because of the injury and because of the COVID protocol. I mean, we talk a lot about Ja, and rightfully so, because he's been spectacular for them. He also hit that wall, and now he's bounced back without the benefit of having Jaren. So, and JV's missed some games. So, and we still don't know exactly what Justice Winslow is going to mean to this franchise. So they are definitely ahead of schedule, I would say, because of all of the X factors that have been thrown into this season.
So let me just sort of let's get this rotation. So obviously you're starting JV, you're starting Jaren Jackson, you're starting Ja. You want Kyle Anderson off the bench, so you're starting Dylan Brooks, and who's your fifth starter here?
Well, that's probably going to be his biggest question mark because he's been really liking Grayson Allen, but you have DeAnthony Melton, who I think is a better two-way player.
I agree.
And so that probably won't mean as much if Justice Winslow can come off the bench and just give you some quality minutes on both sides of the floor.
So you're going to start Allen, and then you're going to have Winslow off the bench. You're going to have Tillman off the bench, who didn't play last night. Bain, where's Bain fit in with all of this?
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be on the coach's feel. A lot of coaches get criticized for feel, and I don't criticize coaches for that. You do have to have a feel for the game because you have to know what a guy is giving you on any given night. And so, again, it goes back to guys just having to be ready to play. You play yourself on and off the court, period. Now, like you said, Wolo, there are certain guys that you're just going to have out there, and you're going to live with everything. You're going to live with Ja turn the ball over 5 times if he does that. You're going to live with Jaren missing 4 or 5 threes. but and whatever JV does. But those other guys either play themselves on or off the floor, and I think that's the first challenge, and it comes at an interesting time. That's the first challenge that Taylor Jenkins has, because now he has a full complement, whereas he's been trying to figure it out all season. Yeah.
Now you got to figure out and who's in and who's out and how you deal with all of that. The good news is this: you're going to make the play-in one way or another. I guess the question is, will you finish anywhere from 6 to 10, and how important is that to you to win these games to get to that position of 6? And I don't know the answer to that.
Well, obviously, with 6, you're in.
That's right.
First of all, let me just say
Much
this.
rather be at 6.
I think this play-in thing is ridiculous. I don't like it. I think it was absolutely necessary for the bubble because there was an uneven schedule. But everybody is coming into this playoff scenario on an even scale. And the fact that the teams 7 through 10 have to play this ridiculous NCAA-style type of thing is crazy to me. I agree with Luka. I totally agree with Luka. You play 72 or 82 games for the right to be the top 8. The fact that 9 and 10 get to compete for a playoff spot is dumb.
Here's why I like it, Ron. I'll take the opposite side on this one, respectfully, because I love you.
Yeah.
But this is a league that is really bad about taking care of their fans. And what was it that Mark Cuban said when he and Luka were complaining about the 9 and 10? Oh, now we're not going to be able to rest folks. What? I'm not paying $125 to see the 13th and 14th and 12th and 11th guys on your bench. I want to see the players play. Now, if you're a 9 or 10 guy, you got to play guys, and you've got to try to win games. And that's what it's supposed to be about. And that keeps, at least for me, that keeps me as a fan watching games I might not want to watch if I knew the season was over. I get your point, but, in a league that is not good about playing guys, they need this rule. Go ahead. Real quick.
I will say this. I like the fact that the league have fined teams for disrespecting the rest protocol. We've seen that in the last 2 weeks. Teams have been fined.
True.
So I prefer that the league clamp down on the whole rest protocol as opposed to coming up with this silly play-in stuff. I would much rather see that to incentivize teams to play than to come up with a gimmick. And that's all this is a gimmick.
He is the original beat writer of the Memphis Grizzlies. Will always have that moniker for the rest of his life.
I don't know about that, but I appreciate you saying that.
Thank you, my friend. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Ron.
Sounds good.
That is Ron Tillery. We're late for a break. Back in a minute. There is some breaking news. Ole Miss has fired a coach. We'll tell you who in just a minute.
You have opinions.
Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad.
We want to hear them. Call the First Bank phone line at 360-8255 or text us on the First Bank text line at 70236.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Your roommate's vacuuming for the 5th time today. But you have the $5 Chalupa Cravings box from Taco Bell, so his vacuuming might as well be the soft hum of purring kittens. And your loud neighbors turn into a telenovela with the beefy 5-layer burrito and chips and nacho cheese sauce plus a medium drink.
Jorge, ven y bésame, mi amor.
With the $5 Chalupa Cravings box from Taco Bell, nothing can ruin your bliss. It's value beyond belief. At limited participating locations for a limited time only. Contact store for prices and items which vary. Drinks exclude freezes, tax extra.
When do people most often think about selling their homes? In the spring? Sure they do, but home sales take place all year long. I'm Kelly Erb with Mark Spensdorf Realtors, and we often say when the azaleas bloom in the spring, so do the real estate signs. What do you think, Sheldon?
Well, Kelly, you are correct. While spring and summer are great times to sell, we've sold homes on Christmas Eve, Thanksgiving weekend, Labor Day, and other holidays. I'm Sheldon Rosengarten, also with Mark Spensdorf Realtors. Kelly and I work as a team, and we often see people moving all year long, especially due to our corporate relocations, with whom we work due to our being members of a large relocation network.
So if you're thinking of selling, take advantage of the low inventory, low rates, and our highly successful strategic marketing plan with Shellbuck's option. Email or call us at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com.
And don't forget what people often say. When you want the job done, call Shell Dunn or Kelly Erb. Do it now, 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Brett off today, Drew filling in. After spring practice and the spring game and everything else, when reality starts to set in, we see often that there will be transfers, right? Guys entering,
of course,
the transfer portal. Somebody wrote that they have CPS, chronic portal syndrome. Clever. I like that.
Pretty clever.
On the First Bank text line, it's 70236. That was good. But today, Ole Miss made a move, and it wasn't players. It was a staff member. That does not normally happen. David Johnson of 24/7 Sports affiliate Ole Miss Spirit reported a significant change within the Rebels coaching staff. Lane Kiffin fired offensive line coordinator Randy Clements, and apparently it was a bit of a surprising move. Clemens lasted just one season in Oxford. He was one of the original hires of Lane Kiffin when he took over the job in January of 2020. Obviously, the offense was terrific last year. That was not an issue for Ole Miss, nor was the offensive line. Clements also has served as the Ole Miss running game coordinator. He had made previous stops at Florida State, Houston, and Baylor, so he's been around a long time. There is no specific at this point for the firing. They say there could be details that will be coming a little bit later. But here's your offensive coordinator, not your offensive coordinator, your offensive line coach, who's your running game coordinator. And a lot of times that happens. Ryan Silverfield was the running game coordinator when he was the offensive line coach. But it's an important position to have. There's no question about that. And so you've just fired a key member of your staff, and we're not sure why.
Yeah, it is very weird. I just finished reading the story on the Clarion Ledger, their website, and they basically said the exact same thing. No reason has yet been given to his dismissal. And unfortunately, and you hate to have these kind of negative thoughts off the front end, but where we are in college athletics and the stories that have come out around the SEC, especially down in LSU, you hope it's nothing related to a Title IX situation or or sexual misconduct that we've seen at universities lately. I don't want to speculate. That's not right, but
we don't know.
mean, ultimately, when in the past when we've seen these type of stories break, that's kind of the road that it's gone down. Now, I hope that it is 100% false. Maybe Clements might have found another job, decided he wanted to pursue a different career path. 1,000 different options out there. But the way that history has been going,
not the way this one went,
especially being a key guy to Lane's first year, one of his original hires when he came to Ole Miss, unfortunately, there's probably something shady going on.
We'll find out. These things usually tend to come out. They usually come out a month or two later. We'll see how long this one takes. This final portion of hour number one brought to you by Ken Garland. Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. He can renovate. He can build from scratch. He's got land. If you're looking for it, if you've got land, you're not sure how to best facilitate it. Ooh, my man can do it all. He's been around a long time, second generation. Go to kengarland.com. You'll see exactly what I am talking about, and he knows when you make that commitment, it's a big decision, and that is why he works closely with all of his clients. You're going to get exactly what you want and should expect: quality construction, on time, on budget. Same thing with renovation. You want modern amenities, but you love your location. You love your old home. He'll make it a modern palace with everything that you could possibly want. Nobody is better at seeing the little details and the big picture all at the same time. Once you've gone to kengarland.com, then make the call. Talk to Ken. He's really an interesting guy. 751-1632. 751-1632. That's Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. We take a break. Hour number two begins in Jacksonville, Florida. Our friend who covers the SEC and really the ACC and all of college football and basketball, that is Brent Beard, and he is next.
Hi, folks. Bob Burkheim for Sunrise Chevy. You know Sunrise has the best selection, price, and has financing for everyone. But did you know you can bring your vehicle to Sunrise's award-winning, state-of-the-art certified service department no matter where you bought it? Maintenance, engine, transmission, brakes, or tires. Bring it to Sunrise. Need body work? Tell your insurance agent you want to bring it to Sunrise. Schedule an appointment at sunrisememphis.com. Find new roads to Collierville. Check out the all-new Sunrise Truck Corral. Huge selection of nothing but trucks. All makes, all models, all prices, all trucks, all the time. Next to Sunrise Wolf Chase.
You ever lie awake at night, can't sleep, not wanting to see what time it is because that's just going to keep you up? Tonight, try ZzzQuil Pure Z's all night. Unlike other sleep aids, our extended-release melatonin helps you fall asleep naturally and then slowly releases so you stay asleep longer through the night. It's non-habit-forming with no next-day grogginess. ZzzQuil Pure Z's all night, so you can fall asleep and stay asleep. Available at retailers near you.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Ocean and Brett Norsworthy.
Welcome back in hour number 2 of another gorgeous spring day in Memphis. A glorious day. One of our true prides and joys, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital announced today the largest strategic investment that they've had in the near 6 decades since Danny Thomas decided to open up this children's hospital. It's amazing. Today they announced an $11.5 billion investment to accelerate research and treatment of cancers globally. And through 2027, they will invest this money. They're going to spend all that money by 2027. That is 1,400 new jobs, new buildings on the campus. What a day for this city and really the world. Because you know what? All these new people, I am sure we will find new roads to a healthier, better way to live. I really do. I believe in St. Jude. Also good news for the U of M. Dr. Rudd tweeting out today, the University of Memphis ranks in the top 4.9% of the world university rankings. And that's out of 19,788 universities around the world. They're in the upper, better than 5%. How about that?
Makes this alumni very proud.
It is a good day for the city of Memphis. I don't know what it's like down in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm sure it's a little warmer than the 80 degrees that we have here. We bring in our college athletic guru. That would be Brent Beard. I want to start with you about the College Football Playoff Committee and your gut feel where it's going. But we just found out Randy Clements, the offensive line coordinator for the Ole Miss Rebels, got fired today. No reason given, but, your incredible tentacles into all that is SEC. You might know. What are you hearing?
I just found out myself, guys. So I mean, you're always a tad surprised when you go through spring. No word really on what has happened yet. So, but that's something we will be pursuing over the next little bit. You normally don't lose staff after the spring game. I mean, it does happen. Certainly a bit unusual, but we have, and Ole Miss had a spring game, as did several SEC teams, too. So, I mean, obviously, football playoff committee and the transfer rule, and by the way, preseason magazine's less than a month away. I'm excited about that, too.
I do want to start because the College Football Playoff Committee heard proposals, 63 different proposals, which seems like an exorbitant amount. But we know they've talked about expanding to 6 or 8 or 10, 12, or up to 16, which would get my vote. Here's the thing. I believe when they are as transparent to tell you they looked at 63 different variables, doesn't it tell you that we are going to get an expansion with not in the next 2 years, but after that?
Yes, there's no doubt. Now, they've been very tight-lipped about, or just status quo, to say, well, there's nothing wrong here. But now, fortunately, they are looking at expansion. I think what's going to happen here is we will expand to 6 or 8, and I would take that, particularly 8. I mean, Dave, I'm with you. It wouldn't bother me at all to see 16. But your presidents really. Now, again, see, you've got, in order for this to change, you've got 11 presidents and chancellors are on a committee in order to approve it. So you've got to get that by them after you do the commissioners. So there's a little bit of a tier to this. But I think the concern from your presidents and chancellors is they don't necessarily want football to be a two-semester sport. Well, come on, guys. I mean, basketball is, and to a degree, football is too, by the time they get through playing. But look, guys, this thing opens up in 2025, basically when the contract ends, which is also when the television contracts are going to be open. And I won't be surprised then if we have some expansion during that time, too. So, but you guys are smart enough to realize this, like a lot of people, you're not going to wait until 2025 to get this going. You're going to at least get something that you can live with. And I would think that this time next year, or certainly in 2 years from now, they would be ready to announce, okay, we're going to 6 or 8, and we'll be starting in 2025 or 26, just to get that out on the table. So for those of us who wanted to see the playoff expanded, this was good news to see them talking about it.
So if it were 6, it would be each champion of a conference, and then what the next best that didn't get in, so the SEC or the Big Ten could still get 2 in, or would there be a place for the group of 5? So that's why I like 16. Every conference champion makes it, and then the 6 best teams, which would all come from the Power 5, but I'd be okay with that. Would have a place. And if you had 16, you could use the bowl games for the first couple of rounds.
Yeah, well, and I think David, Drew, the thing you're going to see with this too is whatever direction they go, probably your top 2 seeds are either going to have a bye or they're going to have a home game. So that may be how they incorporate this too. And frankly, I think that will be fair. I think that would certainly be very interesting in order to see that happen. If we went past 8, we would have to have some kind of a caveat where your top level teams would be rewarded in a greater way than even to play in a bowl game near them. So that, and there's still things to be worked out here, but I still say, guys, if they can work out playing 10 conference games as we did last year, we can work out this playoff expansion a whole lot quicker than they're letting on.
We really can, Brent. I mean, it just shows that we really don't need to be scheduling games out to 2028 like Tennessee and West Virginia announced earlier today, that they actually can do stuff on the fly, and they're able to do it pretty well, while the playoff is still somewhat of a mystery for how that will expand in the next couple of years. What were your thoughts on the overtime rule changes?
I think, okay with it. And basically what Drew's meaning is, after 2 overtimes, we basically go to running 2-point conversions. I mean, my goodness, it's almost like watching soccer overtime or something of that nature. It will certainly cause these coaches to increase their playbook. now,
short yardage playbook. Anyway.
Yeah. Now I will say, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think a team like Memphis, who is wide open and can really score some points and gain some yards, Memphis on the 2-yard line in a 2-point conversion, I think your head would be spinning at the number of plays they can actually call in a situation like that. My only hesitation to this is, let's just say you've got the game of the century here, and they're playing, and they get to not 1 overtime, not 2 overtimes, and then you end up having to decide that on 2-point conversions. That would take a little bit of adjustment, frankly.
Well, actually, it's if you go for 2, don't they move the ball to the 2-yard line?
Yeah.
In this particular thing, if I read this correctly,
it's at the 3, right?
3-yard line is where they would set it for one play in the third overtime. So it's actually a yard harder than it would be if you just went for 2. And, it would bring in interesting strategy. Would you elect to kick a field goal?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if somebody did that, see, I'd like that if I were the opposing coach, because then I would kick the field goal, and then I'd get the ball back, and I'd go, okay, I'm going to make this dude have to go for more because I'm going to go for it.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'll be very interested to see just where all of it goes. But now, again, the reason behind this is they don't want another 7 overtime that you had with LSU and A&M. But I mean, in fairness, though, guys, how many times are we going to see that?
Well, you saw it in Ole Miss and Arkansas. I don't know how many years ago. My kids were young because I actually took them to that game. It was one of the few games that we went to because I'm always working a game.
Yep.
And we saw that game. That was unbelievable. And it took so long, but everybody was so glued that, you didn't get home till like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Sure.
Because you couldn't get out of there because the crowds had all stayed to see this dramatic game.
I think we got to 4 last year in the Texas OU game,
right.
But that's from last year. That's really the only multi-overtime game that I can really think of.
Well, so being that really kind of bring up the point of, I mean, was it really necessary to do it? I mean, they can say they did it for player safety, and I get it. But again, listen, guys, if we could change the rest of college football as easily as we change the overtime system, we'd be in better shape.
I want to go back to the playoff expansion because it also seems to me they built these couple of years in almost as if we will see some sort of conference expansion. Do you think that will occur, or are the group of the Power Five, are they happy with the way it is set up and the shares that each school is getting currently?
They'll say they are, but the reality, Dave, is I think you've got probably expansion talk that is always going on to some degree behind the scenes in this. And the reason you may likely have expansion when all this comes due is in 2025, you've got all your television contracts that are, or at least a lot of them. I mean, the SEC just signed one, but you've got a lot of these contracts that are coming open at that point, and you've got the playoff situation. So it wouldn't seem likely that if you've got some of these involved with television, that you may see very possibly some expansion that is going on. Just maybe the shell game of moving a few around and so forth. Look, I don't rule anything out, Dave and Drew. People say, well, it appears expansion is dead. My answer to that is expansion is dormant. Is what we've got, because look, we guys in 3 years, 4 years, we may be dealing with other issues that we're not even foreseeing right now that may really force some expansion or at least open up some real opportunity for that to happen.
Yeah, there is chances, like you said, it's just dormant. I think that it's always being molded around it between different conferences and different chancellors, presidents, and ADs. And when you get into expansion talk, ultimately the dominoes start falling, and we saw it kind of try to happen over in Europe last week or two with the Super League, and talk about college football, maybe not going to just 20 teams, but have your Power Fives be just them, to where there is no group of 6. They're kind of in their own league, and we've had that debate for the last couple of years. But my question is, if that happened, say that did happen in football, where Power 5 broke off from there and kind of did their own thing, How would that affect basketball? I mean, could you see that ever working in college basketball? We always use college football as an example, but there are just as many powerhouses and blue bloods on the basketball side.
Sure. Yeah. Well, like a Gonzaga.
Yeah.
Or someone like that. So, and it's easy for people to talk about breaking off and forming your own 64 team league or something of that nature. But I think what we've also got to realize is, would you be able to have anywhere near the structure that you've got now with the NCAA? I mean, you've got an enforcement arm, you've got legislative arm. You've still got to be able to have some kind of an organization in order to go the direction that you want to go. And I just think that's a lot more complex than I'm not saying it can't be done. I just think that would take a lot more thought and a lot more complexity than maybe we realize. Look, I mean, and I think all three of us are here. I want to see the non-Power 5 get a fair shake in the midst of this.
I would love to see that happen in my lifetime, but I'm not certain it will. Well,
no.
Unless Memphis gets a seat at the table, then I really don't care what happens to the non-Power 5.
There's a couple of discussions here, really. The first, I think you were referring to, Drew, is the Super League. That was what the European elites were trying to do, take the very best from that European league and then join their own Super League. So what I heard when they were discussing that with Power 5 schools, that would be Alabama and LSU and Michigan and Ohio State and Clemson and USC and UCLA, those top schools from each league starting their own Super League. That's never going to happen.
No.
That would never take place. The other discussion has been that the NCAA would lose their legislative powers when it comes to men football and basketball.
Yeah.
That those two sports would basically, leagues would end up leaving their jurisdiction and starting their own thing. You'd have to have presidents and chancellors and athletic directors that would go along with that. I think we're a long way away from that.
I think we are too. And, guys, take a Vanderbilt that is never had much of a football history, but have been good in basketball. They're certainly good in baseball. I mean, you can make the argument that they're elite in baseball.
Oh, they are.
So the reality is, how would something like that work for them? But I think Dave's right on with that. Look, it's easy to say. It's really good fodder for us on sports radio and in preseason magazines that a lot of that would happen. But at this point, there are so many moving parts to that that unless and, we've also heard of having maybe kind of a three-tiered situation where you've got your 1AA and then dividing up you're basically your Division I, as I still kind of call it. So I don't know. It's too complicated, I guess, to get into today. It's fascinating, I think, to talk about, but there are just a lot of tentacles to that are difficult to deal with too.
Yeah, it's great for us talking heads to try to dissect and look at different possibilities. But I think you're right. It's very complicated. It'd be very hard for it to ever to come to fruition. It would definitely take a lot smarter people than me to try to figure it out. But Brent, one thing that I can't figure out right now is everything. And it seems like every week something new is coming out of LSU. Obviously, the Geis news yesterday that they're going to strip him from his statistics. You got all the football allegations. You still got the NCAA you think the NCAA with Will Wade, if that's ever gonna happen, and now Kim Mulkey, 3-time national champion winner at Baylor, decides that, hey, I see all this stuff going on in Baton Rouge. I might as well join the party. What the heck is going on at LSU? It's just
then
up
says,
and down.
I'm going to throw this damn mask off too.
Exactly.
Yeah. How about that? And look, she's a big time coach.
Oh yeah.
And really did a great job at Baylor. Too. I think that even when she met Ed Orgeron, if you haven't seen that,
I've seen it.
She
did
was,
an impression.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about that. And I tell you one thing, Dave and Drew, I give her credit because she ruled that moment, didn't she? To me, there's no doubt who was in charge of that moment. It was her.
Oh, yeah.
But Drew's question's a good one in that now LSU has banned Darius Geis from the record book that when he played 15 through 17. Accused of sexual assault by 2 former students. Look, guys, I really never thought that taking things out of the record book was any kind of real punishment. They are trying to distance themselves, obviously, from guys. And look, there were 7 more women who filed Title IX lawsuits against LSU just the last day or so. So LSU is going to be really good on the field. My question is, how much of a trickle-down effect and how much of a distraction could this be by the time they start this year? And could the fingers have pointed enough at Ed Orgeron to where he's almost forced to step down and say Wade would be too? That's what we don't know. They'll be very competitive on the field. The problem is, where does this go between now and September?
I have no idea. There are a lot of people who have speculated and said that Ed Orgeron will never see the field in September. As the head coach of LSU. I really don't know the answer to that. The most guilty guy at that school, in my estimation, because I've heard him on a wiretap, is Will Wade, and how he still has his job and called their bluff is unbelievable to me. But we'll have to wait and see again how all of this will shake out. Last thing, and we always love chatting with our friend down in Jacksonville, Brent Beard, and that is. Explain this to me. Tomorrow, the football committee is meeting to okay or rubber stamp the transfer portal. I thought that was done 2 weeks ago.
The Division I Board of Directors is basically supposed to make it officially official, Dave. How about that? So that they will make that announcement. The NCAA still has committees and decisions that
is this for football or basketball?
I think this is for football.
Okay.
Now there are several. That's a great question. There are several things about this that we're not quite sure yet.
Well, basketball, I think, was already taken care of. That's why I was questioning this. I think basketball is done because you've had people with signed papers saying that we're transferring.
Now, there are other sports involved with this, and I think that's what we need to see. We may see this coming out later tonight. Now, the other thing that we don't know here yet is, don't you have to have some parameters to this? In other words, you've got to have a starting date when you can transfer, and then you've got, I would think, have, and I've seen July 1, July 15, later on in the year. So when would it end for this year so that you can get your roster management coming up? So there are still enough questions in here that we scratch our head to kind of see where this is going.
I think with basketball, correct me if I'm wrong, the date July 19th comes up a lot. I think that is when you officially are in the...
You're in or out.
In or out, right? The draft, you're in the draft or you're out. When's the draft?
Yeah, right.
That's when we have to figure out when is the NBA draft, because that is... I keep thinking That is the consequential date. We shall have to wait and see. As always, my friend, it is a pleasure chatting with you. I'm sure there'll be some controversies or something by the time we speak next week.
And guys, let me end on this. Kudos to the city of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and I'll throw Birmingham in there. 10 years ago today, they had that incredible tornado, and I believe they had something like it was an ungodly number of tornadoes that day. I believe like in the 60s is what they got from the weather people. Incredible damage, loss of life, but Tuscaloosa is rebuilt. They're different people because of that. And if people listening have been in a tornado, they can understand this. You've always got to be wary. But certainly a lot in the news today about how difficult that day was. You had students on the University of Alabama campus who unfortunately were killed in the tornado. So I tell you, you were talking about St. Jude's a few minutes ago. It's a tribute, isn't it, guys, to the perseverance of people and what they can overcome in time, and how Tuscaloosa and that part of Alabama has rebuilt.
No doubt. Thank you, my friend. Have a great week. We appreciate
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it, too. Take care.
Brent.
That is Brent Beard down in Jacksonville. This hour of our show is presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. Genesis of Olive Branch, same building right there at the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78. That's Lamar in Memphis. It's that close. And it's the place you need to go if you would like the best product on earth. And I'm talking about the Hyundais, and I'm talking about the Genesis. We know for a fact Hyundais are the safest car in the world, tied with another company for the last couple of years. That technology is so safe, and so we know are the Genesis cars. That SUV was the one that Tiger was in, and that SUV had 10 different airbags deployed. It is why we saw the picture of Tiger on crutches with his dog the other day. He is getting around, and it's because of that safety and, frankly, the durability of the car. Every new Hyundai, every new Genesis car, you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. So we start with the product being top-notch. Now you got this group of guys and gals that have been together for over 13 years at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch, and they want to take care of you. In fact, every new car, same thing with Hyundais and Genesis, you get a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package. They'll change your oil, they'll rotate your tires, they'll do everything for you. They want to take care of you. That is the creed at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. Halfway home on this gorgeous Tuesday. This is Sports Time on Sports 56.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
Golf fans, breaking news. Just over the Mississippi Bridge in Marion, Arkansas. Come join Sports 56 to celebrate the grand opening of Cypress View Golf and Recreation, located just over the bridge at 303 Club Circle in Marion. Sports 56 will be live at Cypress View Friday, April 30th from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. Join Sports 56 Middays and Sports 56 Happy Hour as we give away tons of door prizes, including golf lesson gift cards and free rounds of golf, including cart. Check out Cypress View's new food menu as well. From Philly cheesesteak sandwiches, homemade fresh hand-patted burgers, and Nathan's hot dogs, flatbreads, quesadillas, summer salads, and more. So come hungry. Again, Sports 56 fans, come see us at Cypress View Golf and Recreation in Marion, Arkansas, Friday, April 30th from 10 until 3. Enjoy live sports talk, food, fun, and lots of door prizes. Cypress View Golf and Recreation in Marion, Arkansas. Put it on your calendar. Can't wait. Me, Greg, Johnny, we look forward to seeing you there.
First Bank is here to help you, whether you're a business looking for a loan to expand or refinance an existing one, a homeowner looking for a mortgage or home equity line, a consumer wanting to finance your dream car, or wanting a competitive rate on your CD deposits. Let First Bank try to handle your banking needs. Stop into one of First Bank's 3 local branches today, 6482 Poplar Avenue, just east of International Paper, 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase, and 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or check them out online at firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Jeff Allen, my man, what's happening over at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
All I can say, Randy, it's the right time to buy your new Kia at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah. I've got a 2021 Kia Forte, 41 MPG, or $129 a month lease, just $31.99 due at signing. And a 2021 Kia Soul, $159 per month lease, $30.99 due at signing.
And I see you got 2021 Kia K5 built in America, $184 a month lease, $30.99 due at signing. They're all 36-month leases.
Plus our industry-leading 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty program. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, and let's not forget Senatobia, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia Mount Moriah, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
All 36-month leases, zero security deposit, $650 acquisition fee, Forte, ME344-837, MSRP $20,655, Soul M777-2135, MSRP $21,130, K5 MG 005560, MSRP $25,725, 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage, includes all manufacturer rebates and incentives, PF $695, excludes tax title and license with approved credit, warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/30/2021, dealer stock only.
Hi, this is Rob Brown. Join us every Saturday morning on Sports 56 WHBQ from 8 to 10 a.m. and 96.1 FM and the new FM 98.5. We'll be covering the Memphis Tigers, the SEC, college football, college basketball, college baseball. We'll look into recruiting. We'll have guests from around the country with the latest news, the most knowledgeable people out there, the coaches, the players, the people who play the games. Don't forget to join us on the sidelines. Sports 56, 96.1, and the new FM 98.5.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Cruising through our second hour here. Brett off. We'll be off the rest of the week. Drew filling in, doing double duty. I've been doing a lot of scouring of Twitter today. This just coming across, and I thank Gabe Kuhn for the notification. Georgia transfer quarterback DeJuan Mathis has won the Temple starting quarterback job. Man, we got some quarterbacks in this league this year, don't we?
Yeah, I saw that earlier today, and, you know, after what obviously, I believe Wake Forest, we saw him play against the Tigers at Wake Forest a few years ago in the Birmingham Bowl, right? If I'm thinking of the right guy, right?
Was that DeJuan Mathis?
I'm pretty sure.
I hope not, because they ran through Memphis is what they did in that particular game, if I recall correctly.
Had a chance to win it there at the end, or it ended in a field goal, Dave, and I can't remember if we missed the field goal or they made the field goal to win. I just remember that there was a field goal, and we're in Birmingham.
Now you've got me wondering. It was in Birmingham, and it was I thought they controlled the game for the most part.
They did.
If I recall
Lovely
correctly.
fans, though.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
great people.
Oh, and the coach. I love that coach.
Oh, yeah.
He is terrific. I also saw on Twitter earlier today a tweet from you regarding turkey hunting.
Yes.
That you spent hours looking for turkey, were you going to actually eat this turkey?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Of course. No, I turkey hunt like a lot of people around the Mid-South. And Sunday went out with my father. Enjoyed it, but we did not see a single turkey for over 3+ hours in the woods. I almost stepped on a snake, which I'm definitely afraid of snakes. I mean, 100%.
I can understand that.
100% phobia.
Not a big fan of that either.
Got home, found a tick on me, so I was like, man, not only did I not get a turkey, but then I almost stepped on a snake. I got to deal with the tick bite. And I'm driving down Getwell towards the University of Memphis. I'm right almost at the 240 flyover bridge.
This is on Sunday after your turkey
This
hunt?
is today.
Oh, today.
This is today
Okay.
at 12:03.
So in
if
other words,
was
let's put it into context. You spent 3.5 hours on Sunday chasing these birds, hoping to get one, and they're good. Everybody loves eating. I like wild turkey too. No question, and I'm not talking about the alcohol.
I like
turkey.
them both.
Okay. And now today,
driving down Getwell, about to get to the 240 flyover, and I see something standing in the road ahead of me, and I'm thinking, that looks like a turkey. In the middle of Memphis on Getwell, slow down, pull up, and I kid you not, a female turkey, a.k.a. a hen, was standing in the middle of Getwell, 3 feet from my car. after I had spent 3+ hours trying to chase one down in the middle of nowhere where they're supposed to be. And life is just mean that way. It can truly mock you in the most ironic of ways. And I haven't been turkey hunting my whole life like I have been deer and duck and dove and all the other ones. I've only gotten into turkey hunting probably in the last 5-6 years, and I've still yet to bag my own turkey. Now, there's a lot of different things. I don't get to go as much as I would like, and of course, just hunting on public land can be kind of a hit and miss. It's a lot not as efficient as having your own land. But 5-6 years of turkey hunting, trying to dedicate to getting this turkey, and it's just waiting on me in the middle of get well today. I mean,
turkey hunting actually is very difficult.
It is very difficult.
I in college a long time ago, I had a roommate who was from Central Illinois that was a crack shot. In fact, he was on the SIU skeet shooting team and was in the national championships. He was just a deadeye. And he used to make the gobblers, and he could do the gobble. And he would say it was the hunting was for him the most fun because it was the most difficult of all animals to try and get.
It really is, and I've had some close calls. But it's been a lot of days of you might hear something out in the distance. You might not. You might just be.
Well, have you tried gobbling? Have you done that?
Well, I have one of the pin scratches. You take the pin and the pad, and it makes the. I don't want to do it over the mic. Don't want to hurt anybody.
I don't want to scare anybody either.
Yeah,
it's
but
a good idea.
It's very difficult. It's exciting. It's one of those, and I kind of like that aspect of the hunt that it's. When you go duck hunting, you're probably going to get a shot, and you're probably going to get multiple shots. When you go deer hunting, you're probably going to see something you may not actually get a shot off at anything. But in my experience with turkey hunting, it's a lot of miss and very little get type of situation.
I know.
And
who would have cooked it is what I want to know.
Probably my dad. My dad is definitely the connoisseur of outdoor gamey foods. I'm getting better at it, but he definitely is the more connoisseur of it.
This story just coming across about an hour ago, actually. The Cardinals. This is just going to upset our own Brett Norsworthy. But the Cardinals have placed catcher Yadier Molina on the 10-day injured list with a right tendon strain. The ball club has recalled catcher Ali Sanchez in a corresponding move. I wonder if Sanchez was heading to Memphis a week from tonight at the ballpark at AutoZone is opening night. Molina suffered the injury last Friday against the Reds. It forced him to leave early. He missed the Cardinals games over the weekend. However, he did return to the lineup last night in Philly. That is a big loss, and you hate it when you get. How old is Yachty now?
He's up there in age. I can Google it real quick.
He's got to be in his late 30s, right? 37, 38, I'm going to say. When you get a right foot tendon strain and you've got to be in that squad all the time, that would make me worry a little bit.
He is 38, turns 39 in July.
So 39.
Yeah.
And
a lot of time on them knees.
Ooh. And that's a strain in the lower extremities where you've got to constantly put pressure. That is not a good thing. But it is only the 10-day DL. So that, I guess, is the good news in all of that. Dak Prescott, speaking of good news, and we'll talk with our friend Bo Marchand about this coming up at 5 o'clock. But apparently he impressed at a little get-together. He went and showed off his wares in Frisco. We all know Frisco. That is where they have that. That place is incredible. You think AT&T is nice, which it is. I know you went there for the Cotton Bowl.
The only complaint, real quick, that I have about AT&T Stadium is if you come in on the wrong side, it is almost impossible to get back up, get to the other side. On the main concourse, you cannot walk a complete 180. We had accidentally come in through the wrong gate, and you have to either take an elevator or escalators and stairs, and literally you have to go to the tip-top floor And that is the only place in the stadium that you can walk
360 degrees.
360 degrees
around. You can actually, in the tunnels that are underneath the stadium where the locker rooms are and where you would enter the field, now you can walk 360 or drive. You can drive 360 degrees around there. I think it takes you 10 minutes to drive around the place.
I'm sure it does.
It's so big.
It took us a lot longer to go all the way up and down.
This place in Frisco is incredible. I mean, it's their new practice facility. It replaced Valley Ranch. And it's got a whole entertainment district around it. They got a ballpark that is right over there where they I guess it would be their AA team plays, which it's got a little lazy river in right field. It's really cool. Really a whole cool area that they have. Frisco's just grown up. But he apparently showed off his wares today, and he is 110%, they say, right on track or maybe a little ahead of schedule. So he did this workout. Actually, it was Saturday, calling it the most extensive the quarterback has had so far. Mike McCarthy was very pleased about that. If Dak Prescott, and they put all this money, they gambled on him, if he comes back, it'll be worth it.
It will be worth it. I think Dak is worth it. You know, I'm not going to I don't think he should be considered elite status. I think he should be considered as a good to somewhat great quarterback, a guy that you can really build a team around, a guy that can win you ball games, and most likely, most of the time, wins you more games than he loses. So I think he's definitely worth the money. And you're after that injury that he suffered last year, that was pretty gruesome. You definitely love to see the guy back on being on track to where he's supposed to be, and hopefully will continue that progress and be able to make the start of the season in September.
Well, if you've got a quarterback in the National Football League that you believe in, it's worth taking a chance because they're a valuable commodity. They really are. I mean, how many would you say right now?
For every one that's hit, there's been 10 that haven't.
If you've got one that you know, because there's only about 10 great quarterbacks, I think, out of the 32 teams. I think there are some really good ones, but ones that you can really count on. There's only about 10 of them. And a couple of them are older, like Aaron Rodgers, like Tom Brady. You know, you would
Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson. That older category now.
Yeah, I guess it would be, and I'm not sure I'd put him in the same category. As good as Russell Wilson has been, I wouldn't put him in the same category with Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers.
But he's getting up there in age. He's starting to become that veteran type of guy.
And a guy you wouldn't put a lot of faith in for going down the road, but Ben Roethlisberger, who's probably well past his prime now.
Yes.
Whereas you would think Brady would be, but he's not. But if you've got a guy that you really believe is that kind of player, you go for it, which is exactly what the Cowboys have done. You and I both love hockey.
Yes.
And we're going to be seeing a lot of hockey now.
I saw it.
So you remember, ESPN did a deal about 2 weeks ago, a 7-year deal that including 4 Stanley Cups, some games on ABC. It was a good deal. Today was another chapter, Turner Sports. So you've already got TNT and TBS doing NCAA tournament, doing NBA basketball, TNT is. They're now going to be in the hockey business too. So they're replacing what NBC Sportsnet used to do, and they're paying a pretty good amount. They're going to pay $225 million a year. I don't remember what ESPN and ABC were paying, but I think it was more. But they're going to get 3 cups. They're going to have HBO Max is involved in this deal, so there's going to be a lot more exposure for the NHL. It's 7 years, $225 million a year, 3 Stanley Cup playoffs will be on, or finals will be on TNT or TBS, one of the two. So this is good for hockey.
It's great for hockey, and not just because you bring in a giant in the sports world like a TNT, and it's gonna be different it not being an NBC produced program, but hockey, it needs that exposure. Now, when you talk about cable companies and everything, I know for Xfinity, it's easy to find TNT. It's pretty much right there by where your ESPNs are. I think it's like channel 28. when you start to have to look for NBC Sports, it was always up in that 200, 300 part range where it almost became not worth it to try to find it. But the thing is, I think it's better approach.
Not everybody had NBC Sports.
Exactly. Not everybody had it. Everybody has TNT.
But all you got to do is if you have
now you do. But I'm talking back in the day.
You just go watch the game, and it will take you.
You do now, but it's easier for people to find and maybe stumble upon it. To where maybe they weren't really looking for a hockey game. They just flipped over from ESPN to channel surfing, and it's right there. And it helps grow the brand. It helps create new fans because, honestly, I never really liked hockey until I was in college. A lot of my fraternity brothers were from the Nashville area. The Preds happened to just really be catching steam at the time, and they held the remote in the social room, and so you watched hockey. So didn't really get into hockey until I was forced to watch it, until I stumbled upon it.
You never
went
to a River Kings game?
I went to like one or two as a child, but I just always was more of a baseball, football, basketball, more traditional three around here, and until it was kind of just put in my face, which it can now actually be put in people's face on a TNT, on an ESPN, that I learned how exciting of a game it is to watch. And honestly, now that I've been to NHL games in person, hockey might be my favorite in-person game to watch. I mean, it is just so much fun.
It is. It is a great game in the stadium. You don't understand the beauty of it, the physicality of it, the quickness of it. Because it doesn't translate on TV until you see it in person. It is great. Which reminds me, on Thursday, we're going to have a new indoor soccer league team, I believe, here. So that's cool. They drew the posts. We got odds. We have a favorite in the Kentucky Derby. We'll tell you who that is. We're going to have a great show, by the way, with Paul Rogers on Thursday. And somebody else is going to join on Friday to talk about the 147th Running for the Roses. This portion of the show brought to you by Conway. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and, of course, always ways to entice you to get new technology. Now's the perfect time because if you were to buy new Carrier Infinity technology, they will give you a Visa gift card back to the tune of $1,500. That's if your system has one unit. If you've got, say, an upstairs, downstairs, or front of the house, back of the house, 2-unit system, they'll give you $3,000 in Visa cards. Now, that'll make for a great summer vacation, won't it? And if that's not enough, here's John. He's always going to make the deal a little sweeter. How about an April air cleaner? That'll get the dust out of your home. No extra charge. 10-year parts warranty on the house. And a free Nest thermostat. That's about $2,000 of freebies. And the way John is pricing this thing now, he has easy payment plans for as low as $139 a month. Isn't it time for you to get new technology and save money on your gas bill every month? Because these new babies work so much more efficiently. And you're going to get the award-winning Conway service every time you make this call, 384-3511, 384-3511. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. Back in a minute. This is Sports Time on Sports 56.
Sports 56 mornings with Peter Edmiston and Anthony Zane. Weekday mornings from 7 till 10 on Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Get to destinations unknown in your new ride from Gossett Mitsubishi 1870 Covington Pike. Get 43 MPG Highway and 2021 Mitsubishi Mirage. We Gossett at $12,997 or $133 a month, and it's not a lease. You own it. Dream big and drive further in your all-new 2022 Eclipse Cross, $23,373 or $284 a month, and exceed all expectations in your 2022 Outlander, $31,919 or $409 a month. Plus, we build it with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi today, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 75 months at 2.79%. Mirage MH02807, MSRP 16865. Eclipse NZ03094, MSRP 26325. Outlander NZ05802, MSRP 34935. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/30/2021. Dealer stock only.
Tired of waiting on your sportsbook? Waiting for deposits and withdrawals? No more waiting with Action 24/7. We're cutting out the middleman. Deposit or withdrawal in cash. Action 24/7 has more than 100 partners in Tennessee for cash deposits and withdrawals. Visit action247.com for a location. Cash deposits and withdrawals from your Tennessee sportsbook. Action247.com. You got action.
Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee. For problem gambling support, call 800-889-9789.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together. So the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
Hi, folks. Bob Burkham for Sunrise Buick GMC. You know Sunrise has the best selection, price, and has financing for everyone, but did you know you can bring your vehicle to Sunrise's award-winning service department no matter where you bought it? Maintenance, engine, transmission, brakes, or tires, bring it to Sunrise. Need body work? Tell your insurance agent you want to bring it to Sunrise. Schedule an appointment at sunrisememphis.com, Covington Pike, Bartlett, and Collierville. Check out the all-new Sunrise Truck Corral. Huge selection of nothing but trucks. All makes, all models, all prices, all trucks, all the time. Next to Sunrise Wolf Chase.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
I love the Derby. I love the Triple Crown. I used to go as a kid to see the races, sort of got sucked in, but nothing beats these 3 races. We get to be experts on all these horses only 3 times per year. And now I got to really start to dig in. I know Essential Quality is running out of the 14th post, and that horse is a 2-1 favorite. 45,000 fans, by the way, will be in Louisville, Kentucky at Churchill Downs. So that's, I'm going to say that's a third. Not about right?
Sounds about right.
I think they can have 135,000. Paul Rogers, as I mentioned, will join us on Thursday, and he'll have this whole thing handicapped for you. The second favorite is Rock Your World, and that horse is 5-1, and that horse is right next to Essential Quality in the 15th post. A Known Agenda is on the rail at 6-1, but nobody ever wins on the rail at Churchill Downs. Hot Rod Charlie, I love that name. That horse is 9-1 out of the 9th post. And the biggest difference this year in all these horses is that for the first time since 1996, no horse will be allowed in the race taking Lasix, which basically usually makes them lighter. It's like a diuretic. And there's another side effect of it that I think increases performance. So I'm guessing, and we'll ask Paul Rogers about this on Thursday, but I am guessing that means we're not going to see any track records.
Yeah, probably not. But I get into the three races. Obviously, I watch the Kentucky Derby every year, and I don't really know enough to really know what I'm watching type of thing. I see the horses, they start, they go, they all around the track, yay, they win. Like I don't. When I start to kind of pick these, and I might actually put a bet on it, I'll probably just go off of names. I'm really liking the horse starting out of 10th spot, Midnight Bourbon. That's who I might run with.
What's the odds on
20
that
to 1.
20 to 1.
You get a pretty good.
That's a good payday right there.
Pretty good payday on Midnight Bourbon.
No doubt about it. We look forward to chatting about that on Thursday with someone who knows. This portion of the show brought to you by Memphis Public Golf. I played Fox Meadows on Sunday, starting to take shape. You know, people don't realize that was a country club when the city bought it back in the 1960s. It's an interesting layout. If you want to play back, it's got some distance to it. There's 2 or 3 really difficult holes. I think the 7th hole is my favorite. I will say this. You talk about some great layouts now between what they've done at Galloway. Audubon is classic. Fox Meadows is classic. Old Country Club. Pine Hill is going to be completely renovated, started in the fall. They're working on Overton Park. They're always trying to make public golf better for you. And there's going to be a lot of championships, more than we've ever seen before. There will be the championship at Galloway, Audubon, Fox Meadows, and Pine Hill to go along with the Pub Links and the Hillman Robins. There will be the Ladies Amateur Championships. Going to be a lot of good competition if you want to get into that this year. And for juniors, camps all summer long at the Links at Whitehaven. Go to the website. You'll really you'll get the picture. You'll love what you see. Memphis Public Golf, a sporting tradition in Memphis for over 100 years. Back in a minute, Bo Marchant, collegetopro.com, and what else? Thursday's NFL Draft.
Kelly Erb and I love selling homes. I'm Sheldon Rosengarten, and we are both with Marks Bensdorf Realtors. We sell homes from the river to Germantown and everywhere in between.
And Sheldon, don't forget, we sell in all different price range, all the way up and over $1 million in River Oaks. But we also love selling homes and condos to first-time home buyers in Midtown, High Point, and the University of Memphis area.
And people aren't aware how much they need our experience and expertise when they're selling their homes. This involves preparation, presentation, and proper pricing combined with our highly successful strategic marketing program with the Shellbucks option. It's hard to beat that combination and our combination.
That's right. And if you or someone you know is thinking about selling, remember what people often say, that when you want the job done, call Sheldon and Kelly, of course.
You can reach us 24/7 at memphisrelocate.com or 682-1868. That's 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. Kelly Erb or Sheldon Rosengarten.
Do it now.
Get to destinations unknown in your new ride from Gossett Mitsubishi 1870 Covington Pike. Get 43 MPG Highway and 2021 Mitsubishi Mirage. We Gossett at $12,997 or $133 a month. And it's not a lease, you own it. Dream big and drive further in your all-new 2022 Eclipse Cross. $23,373 or $284 a month. And exceed all expectations in your 2022 Outlander. $31,919 or $409 a month. Plus, we build it with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi today, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 75 months at 2.79%. Mirage MH02807, MSRP 16865. Eclipse NZ03094, MSRP 26325. Outlander NZ05802, MSRP 34935. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/30/2021. Dealer stock only.
Your roommate's vacuuming for the 5th time today. But you have the $5 Chalupa Cravings box from Taco Bell, so his vacuuming might as well be the soft hum of purring kittens. And your loud neighbors turn into a telenovela with the beefy 5-layer burrito and chips and nacho cheese sauce plus a medium drink.
Jorge, ven y bésame, mi amor.
With the $5 Chalupa Cravings box from Taco Bell, nothing can ruin your bliss. It's value beyond belief. At limited participating locations for a limited time only. Contact store for prices and items which vary. Drinks exclude freezes. Tax extra.
Hey, if you're hungry for great Mexican food for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, got it. La Guadalupana, La Guadalupana, Guadalupana. Choose from tacos, burritos, enchiladas, sizzling shrimp, beef or chicken fajitas, and even a Cuban sandwich filled with Mexican sausage, chicken, ham, steak, jalapenos, avocado. Add a nice cold beer to your super nachos. Top with melted cheese, beans, sour cream, guacamole, tomato, and jalapenos. Great prices, generous portions, great service at 3 locations: Summer Avenue, Cordova Road, in Winchester. La Guadalupana.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
This hour brought to you every day by DeSoto Auto Sales. They are at 5704 Goodman Road. Go online to DeSotoAutoSales.com and check out all the beautiful cars and look at all the testimonials from very pleased repeat customers. They're very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area down on Goodman Road. 662-890-7184. All the cars test driven, checked out bumper to bumper, head to toe, kind, courteous employees, laid back atmosphere, no high pressure sales, but they care about your time. You walk in within 45 minutes, test drive a car, credit approved, paperwork completed, and you're out of there in less than an hour. In time to do it during your lunch hour or immediately after work. They know we live in a world today that time really matters. That's why they keep it simple at DeSoto Auto Sales. 662-890-7184. Online at DeSotoAutoSales.com. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. Final hour on this just outstanding Tuesday afternoon, the day that we found out St. Jude. Wow, what a landmark day. St. Jude announced today they've invested in a new strategic, I guess, just a push. It's the biggest investment in the 6 decades, or nearly 6 decades they've been here. St. Jude today agreed to invest $11.5 billion to accelerate research and treatment of cancers through the year 2027. They're adding 1,400 new jobs. Memphis will be helping the world in this thanks to St. Jude. What a prideful thing that is for all Memphians. That was part of the news today. The University of Memphis ranks in the top 4.9% of all the world universities, 19,788 in that formula, and their Tigers are in the 4.9 percentile. That is pretty amazing unto itself. So we're off to a good start today in terms of good news. And we got the NFL draft coming your way. That will be Thursday night. And, of course, we always talk with our friend Bo Marchant in this time slot on Tuesdays. And the young man from collegetopro.com joins us now. And, Bo, let's start out with something really simple. There are certainly going to be 5 quarterbacks taken in the first round. I don't know if it's in the first 10, 15, 20, whatever it may be. I would like for you, based on all you've seen, to rank those quarterbacks. I'm sure Trevor Lawrence is number 1. Now, the next 4 from all the mocks I've seen are all different. It's crazy. So, Bo, how would you rank these quarterbacks?
Oh, just real quick, I remember last show, Dave, you started the show off with what guy would slip out of the top 10. I did my mock draft, and I posted it at Sunday, and I had all the quarterbacks going inside the top 10. So I lied to you last week, and I apologize. That said, I think you got to go Trevor Lawrence. It's the he's one in a generation type prototype. He's the reason why Urban Meyer got off his couch and said, you know what, I'm going to try the NFL thing, because he could go to Jacksonville and he can tutor and teach Trevor Lawrence. And one thing you cannot deny about Urban Meyer is everywhere he's gone, from Alex Smith to Utah, he's been able to make quarterbacks be special. And that's why we've seen what he's done.
So wait. Do you think if Trevor Lawrence wasn't heading to Jacksonville that Urban Meyer would not have taken that job?
100%. I would bet everything. He might never admit to it because he's accomplished a lot of things himself. But I think it was a slam dunk decision that Jacksonville had the pick. They had this prospect coming out. Put it this way, I mean, he wasn't coming out for Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold. I mean, we knew from day one Trevor Lawrence was proclaimed, next generation quarterback prospect, the Andrew Luck, if you will, and that's why it came out. I am confident. We may never know it. It might come down in 20 years from now. But that, listen, I'm telling you, that's why Meyer got off the couch. He could go to Jacksonville. He got this kid to teach. They got picks. They got money. But with that said, Lawrence is one. Zach Wilson's, we all know the Zach Wilson story. If you're not up to date on Zach Wilson, I mean, he was a kid in college who, was fighting to get his job back. He was, he was a top 25 type prospect going into the final season of BYU. And he really, really accelerated that process. And now, the Jets probably will take him number 2 overall on Thursday night. And this is where we kind of really get into the nitty gritty. And people could even question, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields. If Justin Fields can perform at an elite level, I think you're looking at another Cam Newton type prospect. He has the size. He has the ability to be physical. We know he can run the ball. We know he can throw. Go ahead.
What about the epilepsy question with him?
You know what? This is what I texted the agents that are pretty prominent agents in the industry. And I said, I don't need to know your name. I just need to know, where do you think this came from? Was this the agency? Was this a team? Mm-hmm. 2 out of the 3, and these are predominant names in the industry, they said that they thought that came from a team, meaning that a team was hoping, and granted, we do not know this, all speculation, but I'm just trying to figure out, because we're trying to all pick up nooks and crannies of what's going on with this draft. And they said that their best guess would be 2 of the 3, that it was a team saying that maybe to have Justin Fields slide. And when you think about this business, I mean, there's an ugly side to it. There's an ugly side about it, but the good side is somebody wants him. And if you're sitting at a point where you don't think you can get him, but you might be able to do something to get him, then you do it. And the team's never going to admit to that. We could know that, but agents are pretty plugged in because they're dialed in. They know their players. They know what teams think of their players. But I think that's the whole thing with Justin Fields. And the biggest thing was, when these guys go to the combine, and I know they didn't go there, but they flew 150 guys in Indianapolis. Justin Fields was one of those prospects that flew to Indianapolis, and they went through the medical checks. It is beyond my imagination that he spent time in Indianapolis with all the thoroughness that they do. I don't even know if that's a word, but as thorough as they are, that would have not been a topic or something that came up in the discussion. So I think this is something that came out late. Obviously, it doesn't hurt him. We know that when it came out. It's something he's dealt with, but nonetheless, it's something that came out. With that said, Mac Jones is, and this is where people look at, Justin Fields, Mac Jones, that's a big debate in this draft, Dave. What I think teams need, or fans out there, teams that, watch the NFL draft, this is what Kyle Shanahan wants at quarterback. And if it's Mac Jones, that's the guy he wants. He thinks his system will work best with Mac Jones in it. And it's not saying Justin Fields isn't a good prospect. It's not saying Justin Fields won't have a better career than Mac Jones. But the people that I've spoken to, and this is a grapevine to a grapevine to a cornfield to another grapevine, the people closest to Shanahan, if they had to guess, and if you said, hey, Kyle, privately, off the record, who you taking, he would say Mac Jones because it's just his guy. Again, I'm trying to give you the best information that I've been able to gather as we're 2 days away from Thursday night's NFL draft. So, but I think I'm still going to put Justin Fields ahead of Mac Jones because I just think you always want to think upside. And I that's where I put Fields. And again, I've been on the show all draft season, and I am I'm petrified of any Ohio State quarterback, but there's still that upside, and I still think that plays a factor. And then there's Trey Lance at 5. I love Trey Lance. I got to see him play. I'm always a small school guy, so I'm going to root for him. He's, it's just, level of competition, 19 games in his career. So there's going to be some question marks. And at the end of the day, I think that without any real strong defensive ends, defensive linemen, it's a weak class. When I went through and I really dug down and did my mock draft, I think you're going to see that the quarterbacks will prevail. We probably will see them because you got Cincinnati at 5 with Joe Burrow. You got the Dallas Cowboys at 10 with Dak Prescott, and then you just go down the order. Jacksonville, New York Jets, The 49ers, we knew moved up. The Falcons, I still don't think are going to take a quarterback. But then that leaves you, you're sitting there with, Miami, no, but then Detroit could. Chris Spielman, he's part of that Lions staff now. If he likes a gritty quarterback, he's going to like Justin Fields. So if he has any say in this process, maybe they're not strapped to Jared Goff. That was just a trade that they made. And then you look at, at the Denver Broncos. We know that they could do it. Carolina, who's to say that Carolina doesn't want to pay Sam Darnold that big contract money? You know what I mean? He's going to be stepping into that new contract. Do they want to pay him $20-25 million just the going rate of a quarterback? Not deserved. It goes back to the Kirk Cousins money when he was a franchise guy. It's not what you deserve. It's what, if you want one of these guys, this is what you have to pay. So that just puts you back into that mindset where maybe Carolina pulls the trigger on one of these quarterbacks. So a lot to be. It's when you talk about quarterbacks and how important they are. This is really going to be a fun first round on Thursday night because, like I said last week, I thought one of these guys might dip outside. But when I really looked at these teams, I think John Elway loves Justin Fields. I'd be shocked if the Broncos don't end up with him. But at the end of the day, we know it's a crapshoot, and I think all these picks are in play. If Atlanta is not obsessed with Kyle Pitts, they're going to be the perfect, person. All these teams are going to go the 4 saying, what do you want to do? And if they feel comfortable dropping down to 8 or 9 or 10 and they can get a Penny Sewell or a Jamar Chase, a Kyle Pitts, if they feel comfortable with those are guys on their boards that are equivalent to what they were giving up with the Kyle Pitts, Atlanta could fall. But there's going to be a lot of that activity, I think, in that top 10, and it's going to be surrounding by those quarterbacks.
It's definitely going to be fun, Bo, and it always is. There's always a mystery. There's the wild card that gets thrown in there. There's the wacky trade on Thursday night that's going to happen. But for these GMs and for these franchises, what I want to know is who at the most cannot afford to mess it up, cannot afford to try to get too fancy, can't afford to make a wrong pick, or this will be the last year that GM is making a first-round pick.
Well, we're going to go with the team of our host, Dave, and we're going to go with Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy. They have to get it right. But the benefit, Drew, is I call it playing with house money. They know that this is their last shot to stay in Chicago. So if they want to spend as much draft capital or prospects, players that they want to move up to get the quarterback that they can think resurrect this franchise, they're going to do it. We already know they made an offer for Russell Wilson, and that was denied. So we already know that they're in play to make a move. And if they feel comfortable with whatever these quarterbacks start to slip, I would expect that Ryan Pace and Nagy, they're going to make a move and say, you know what, we're pulling the trigger, we're moving up, and we're taking a quarterback. Hopefully that Dalton and this quarterback can kind of, intertwine throughout the season, and we can look that there's a bright horizon for the Chicago Bears. But I would definitely go with the Chicago Bear franchise.
I don't disagree with any of that you just said, except that I don't know how they do that because they don't have any cap space. They would have to trade a big commodity. When you said they went after Russell Wilson, they did. But we know Mac was in that particular offer, and I think they may have had another key defensive player that was in the offing for that. I'm just not sure. So who have you got them in your mock? Who do they end up with?
I had them I had the Broncos taking Justin Fields, and then I had the Bears taking Trey Lance. And I had them trading with the line.
I love Trey Lance. I'm glad you said that. And, there have been some small school guys that the Bears have done well with, like Walter Payton, small school.
And, Dave, remember, but Khalil Mack, all those guys that they involved in the Seattle trade, I mentioned draft capital. Those could also be pieces that are traded on draft night if it comes to fruition. So, just because it doesn't mean that on draft night they can just trade a 1 or a 1 next year. They could say, hey, Detroit Lions, this is this guy. And, I know it's an inner, thing trade, but nonetheless, I think them, I think Lance would be a good guy. And I'm glad you like Lance because, me, I'm a small school guy.
I know.
So I'm rooting for Trey.
I know. All right. So if I were saying to you, tell me in these first 10 or 15 picks, the one guy that you are 100% certain is going to be an all-star, He's going to be a Pro Bowler. He may be all NFL. And I'll start with Lawrence. It could be him. Maybe it's the Pitts kid from Florida because everybody thinks he's really, really good. Maybe it's an offensive lineman like Sewell or Darashaw. Maybe it's a corner like Surtain. Who is, in your mind, the surest bet of all these guys?
I hate going. I call this is such a privileged class. This is like the Ritz-Carlton of draft pick. Right now I have to go with Lawrence. I just think where he's at, and if Urban Meyer can do what he did with all his college prospects, I think Lawrence. And when you got the name, and let's kind of. I don't think the Pro Bowl is what it used to be in terms of how we remembered. At least I did growing up. I mean, that was something prestigious. Now guys get invited, they don't go, and now the game's barely getting by. So I mean, to say you're a Pro Bowler, that's after Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and Drew Bledsoe and all these other guys canceled out, and then you get to arrive in Hawaii to go, and now you're a Pro Bowler. So, but I think Trevor Lawrence can be that guy. I'd be reminiscent to, I think Micah Parsons, the Penn State linebacker. I think he's real
good.
deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I know there's some questions, with him, but I would assume he still makes it in the top 15. I'd be shocked, especially, again, defensive guys, we might not get a good defensive guy off the board till 10 when the Cowboys go to the draft. And if they elect to take a lineman, I would assume they go DB. But again, that's anyone's question. If they go DB, I think J.C. Horn from South Carolina, Dan Quinn and Will Muschamp are good friends. You got the Mike McCarthy, Joe Horn thing from his days back there. So there's that type of connection. So I think that makes sense. But again, it's anyone's guess, but I think the Cowboys are the first team on Thursday night to take a defensive guy off the board.
Well, obviously, as a lifelong Ravens fan, I don't have to worry about drafts. I mean, obviously, Ozzie Newsome did a heck of a job, and even though he's not technically the GM now, there's no way he's going to let DaCosta mess it up, so I don't even have to worry. But for a lot of people around here, being only about 2.5 hours away from Nashville, the Titans been kind of a mixed bag in previous drafts. Good, great, not so great. In order for the Titans to have a good draft over the weekend, they have to do what?
Well, one, you can't pick Isaiah Wilson, who, doesn't play and then gets traded to Miami and is waiting 3
you
days.
can't do that.
Yeah, that's the first thing you can't do, Drew. So I think anything past what they did last year is going to be a bonus. Corey Davis left, Jonnu Smith left. I mean, they brought in Bud Dupree, so they're trying to eliminate that, absence of a pass rush with, what they hope Bud Dupree can bring to them. I think it's a deep receiving core, and I think the talent would be there for them to go in that direction. Where they're at, they're in a weird spot. You're picking 22. I think the best of the offensive tackles will probably be gone by then. I mean, it's a deep DB class. Defensive end, not so much. And, they kind of address that with Bud Dupree as the outside linebacker. So, I just look at a possible need. And then, Elijah Moore, the Ole Miss receiver, he's a hot name. Kadarius Toney, the Florida receiver. Rashad Bateman, the Minnesota guy. I would put all three of those guys as candidates who come off the board for the Titans, just to kind of replenish. Remember, Jonnu Smith and Corey Davis, those were big factors in the Titans' offense, and not one of them, but both of them are gone. And if you want Travis or Derrick Henry to be able to run the ball, and you want J.J. Brown to be able to flourish, you got to have some attention. You got to draw these guys away from them, and if not, then you need those guys to be the target that you can go to while defensive coordinators are focused on the other guys in that offense. So I would think receiver, just in terms of value at that position, I just think it'd be, to me, right now, I'd kind of be shocked if it wasn't receiver coming off the board at 22.
You mentioned the Cowboys, first ones that'll take a defensive player. I don't disagree with that, especially after the news they got apparently over this past weekend that Dak Prescott is way ahead of schedule. What do you make of that pronouncement?
I'm excited. I mean, it was heartbreaking to see the injury last year. To see the way that ankle and him crying and being carted off the field, it was a heartfelt moment, I think, in sports where he's a good kid, and you want see good guys succeed. But I was glad to hear it. They invested in him, and he's able to deliver. He's been fantastic, and I've mentioned it so many times on this program. I mean, the first preseason game against him and Jared Goff, and he looked like a seasoned veteran, and Jared Goff looked like a deer in the headlights. So, Dak had it from the get-go, and he's never kind of slowed down. He's built that, and look at how good that they weren't winning games. I give you that, but prior to him getting hurt, I mean, they were putting up a ton of points. They were moving the football. 17th pick of the draft last year in CeeDee Lamb. They have the weapons to make it go, around. But, Dallas, I think, should be in a good spot. And, Dave, the best part is all signs points to defense. Thursday night, they will take an offensive lineman because anything you think's going to happen never, ever happens.
Right.
But I'm still sticking with that. But, when you do any mock draft, it's kind of like, hey, what do you need in your life? Well, I need a new car. What did you go out and buy? A new TV. Why'd you do that? That's just what you. And that's how the mock drafts are. You think, hey, this is what this team needs. Dave, one draft, I was so confident. I think the Bears took Kevin White 7th overall, and their defense was horrific. And I would have bet everything that I had that the Bears, I don't care what defensive guy was on the board, that they would have won defense. And I saw Kevin White, wide receiver. I'm like, see that? You just never know what teams think of a guy or what they think they could do to the franchise. And that's why it makes it so much fun that we get to talk about it and then watch it unfold on Thursday.
Well, it was not fun watching Kevin White never develop. That, of course, he was hurt every minute. So that was awful.
Bo, speaking of wide receivers, the Falcons, they said they're open to Julio Jones trades. Does he get dealt? Is he part of a package on Thursday or throughout the weekend?
It's going to be tricky. I mean, I think he's owed $15 million this year, $11 million next year. I mean, I think total money it's $37 million. That's a lot of money for a guy who's 32 years old. He's productive. He missed, he played in 8 games, but he was productive when he played. I think that's the thing that we need to remember. Did he miss time? Yes, but when he was on the field, he was productive as any receiver in the league. It's just a matter of a team, them finding somebody that can partner up with the money. So you immediately think of like the Jets or the Colts, teams that have money. I tried again. When that news broke, I hit the sources that I thought would know. This is just the Falcons trying to cause some interest and saying, hey, you know what, he is available. If there's any takers, we're willing to listen. Because if not, I think they have $900,000 worth of cap space. They won't even be able to sign their rookies. So they're in a really bad predicament where, it's either you're going to cut him or you're hoping to get something. And I don't think they're going to give him away necessarily. But it's sort of a little bit like the Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff trade where the Rams were just trying to unload the contract. And, so I think that would be the same thing where the Falcons, they're going to take the team that acquires Julio, they're more so than anything, they're going to absorb that cap hit. And on the upper side, that team is going to be, able to, use Julio Jones in their offense. But it's going to be tricky. Just finding a suitor with the money. That's going to be the big thing. It's not that Julio can't be productive for a couple more years. It's just finding a team that wants to invest that much money into a player on the wrong side of 30.
How many folks are showing up in Cleveland? Have they decided how many can be there for this draft?
I do not know. I wish I could give you a number on that, but I mean, listen, I'm based in Ohio, and I mean, I'm around and about, and people. It looks almost, it's not normal because people have masks on, but if you're at a social gathering, it's about as normal as you can, imagine it. So I'd imagine Thursday night, Cleveland people, like they're saying Cleveland rocks and they like to party. I'm going to imagine that every citizen that can get their butts down to Cleveland for that draft, they're on the streets of Euclid and Prospect Avenue. They're going to be on the bars and any street vendors and on the streets and in the parks of the city, kind of taking in the moment of draft night.
You going to be there?
I will be there.
All right. So next week we'll have all kinds of stories about parties and everything else, Bo.
And I'll be like, when this is when I got arrested at 3 a.m. I got tased at 4 a.m.
Yeah, you're too old for that now.
Yeah, my wife left me on Friday, day 2 of the draft.
Well, Bo, if you do end up getting arrested and need bail money, don't call me. Call Dave. He's got a little deeper pocket.
Call me.
All right, so Dave's officially on the clock now.
Yeah, there you go. I'm expecting that you will run from trouble because no one's going to be able to keep up with your pace for that far.
You know what? I have a funny story about that I'll share offline. But yes, I would like to. So yeah, that's for actually that's when we actually go out and have dinner. I'll share that story.
I can't wait for you to come to do that. I really can't. Thank you, my friend. Enjoy the draft, and I look forward to our conversation next week.
Yes, sir, guys. Stay safe.
You got it.
Thanks, Bob.
Take care, buddy. That is Beau Marchant, collegetopro.com. He's brought to you in part by Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. Same building. You know this by now. The same building as Genesis of Olive Branch. I love bragging about what they do there. This is a team that's been together for 13 years. Those that sell the Genesis cars, and they all take turns. Their new leader is Vinny Gerard. Now, Chris Drew is still over the entire place, but Vinny Gerard, who's been around this market for a long time, he came in, he knows luxury cars, and he tells me there's no doubt that the Genesis luxury car is the best luxury car, dollar for bang, of any car that is out there. And I believe him. I've got a G70. I can't tell you how many compliments I get about it on the outside, and on the inside I can clearly tell you this. When I put it in sport mode, it is the fastest, best performing car I have ever driven, and I've driven a lot of luxury cars. It is outstanding. And they got G70s, and they got G80s, and they got G90s. They don't have very many GV80s. That's that new van that is so good, that's SUV, that they just can't keep them in stock, but they've got one for you to demo if you call Vinny Gerard. Or go by, just get on Lamar into Mississippi, turn left at the very first exit, Craft Road, and know that all these Genesis cars, and the same thing for the Hyundais, they're all durable. They all have a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty, and this is the way they work at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. This is Chris Drew. He loves to service the cars. He wants to take care of you. That's why every new car, Hyundai or Genesis, gets a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package. They'll change the oil for you. They'll rotate your tires. They'll do whatever is necessary to make sure that car is running smoothly. So please go see my friends. You'll really appreciate it. You'll be glad you did when you go to Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. So a little history was made. The Golden State Warriors launched what they call a non-fungible token collection. They are the first professional sports team to do it. They're on this thing called OpenSea platform. What does all of that mean? Their president, Brandon Schneider, said this is the wave of the future. I got to figure out what this is. So I'm bringing in my analyst, Ben Cohen, from Raymond James in Chicago. He's going to join us in a minute. We're going to sort through all this out. We're going to make you understand what the heck this NFT thing is. That's next on Sports Time.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy get you through lunch daily from 10 to 1.
Well, lunch is served.
Only on Sports 56, 98.5 FM and 96.1 FM.
It's happening again at Family Leisure. Don't miss out again this summer because pools are going fast. Spas in stock now, too, and they're ready for delivery. New 2021 patio furniture, state-of-the-art in stock now, and up to 20% off select sets. Swing into spring with a brand new play gym, professional installation available. The temperature's rising, and so is the service at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, I-40 and Whidden Road, where family and fun come together.
You ready for a new ride? We Gossett at Gossett Kia Covington Pike, and Bobby J is the man to put you in a new Kia today. It's less than $5 a day. 2021 Kia Forte, $129 a month lease, $31.99 due at signing. Find your soulmate with 2021 Kia Soul, $159 a month lease, $3,099 due at signing. And 2021 Kia K5, built in America, $184 a month lease, $3,099 due at signing. All 36-month leases. Plus, peace of mind you can trust with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike. Shop 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
36 month leases, 0 security deposit, 650 acquisition fee, Forte, ME344, 837, MSRP 20,655. Sold M777, 2135, MSRP 21130, K5, MG 005560, MSRP 25725. 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage, includes all manufacturer rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/30/2021. Dealer stock only.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together, so the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
The summer of fun is here now at Mario's Pools. Hi, everybody. This is Dave Woloshin from Mario's Pools on Exeter Road. That beautiful pool, well, it just doesn't happen. So call Mario, and his team will be right there to guide you every step of the way if you want to do it yourself, or they'll do it for you. If you need a replacement pool liner, Mario has the best price against all the major competitors, and by the way, the best selection. Call Mario's Pools, easy, 552-3399. That's 552-3399, or just walk in, so easy, in Germantown on Exeter Road. The great thing about Mario is he always takes that extra step. He gets to know you and your pool. He'll do everything he can to make it perfect. Mario's has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. You can check out the reviews on Facebook. Don't be a slave to your pool. Call Mario Pools today, 552-3399.
It's time, Memphis. Join John Morant, Tyus Jones, and your Memphis Grizzlies Wednesday, April 28th at 7 p.m. as they take on the Indiana Pacers, presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. Check out grizzlies.com/tickets today.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Once again, Brett off, Drew filling in. News today, the Golden State Warriors launched what is called a non-fungible token or NFT collection on a platform called the OpenSea platform. They became the first pro team to do that. It's the wave of the future, says Warriors president Brandon Schneider. What? What is this NFT? I saw a story. Some artists got $63 million in this NFT thing last week. I asked a bunch of people, including the youngster, Drew Barrett here.
I have no idea.
He didn't know. I asked old people that are in the financial world. They didn't know. So I had to go to my expert. That's my guy, my financial analyst, Raymond James Chicago, the one and only Ben Cohen, who used to be on Broadway, by the way. So we know he's got this dramatic flair. So dramatically, we hope, he will inform us as to what the heck this NFT thing truly is. Ben, can you help us out?
Dave, I can try. This is an evolving story, that's for
sure. Okay. So let's begin. It's this thing. I think the NBA has been doing this a little bit. They have had huge returns on what they call a blockchain-based platform that allows fans to buy, sell, and trade numbered versions of officially licensed video highlights, right? So they made like $500 million from this over the last year. So how what's the process, and what does non-fungible token really mean?
Sure. So when you said blockchain, blockchain is just really a way for you to keep track of who owns what. It's essentially a ledger. And the NFTs, these non-fungible tokens, are just an indicator that ties to something else like a piece of art or a video or something like that you might want to own or collect or show, for the rest of your life, or if you want to sell it, you can do that too. But unlike an old baseball card, that you actually hold in your hand, these live in the digital world, and everybody knows you can, if you have a picture of something, you can copy it and send it to people. So the blockchain really allows you to have that digital thing, but say, I have the original, and you can get it straight from the artist, or you can get it from in a secondary market from somebody who already bought it. But it's essentially proving your ownership of that original or of something digital that you can't necessarily hold in your hand.
So this is for a digital collection, so to speak. And explain to me, because this blockchain with the highlights, it seems to me, so the NBA has a highlight. I can buy it digitally with this proof of this non-fungible token, and then I can sell it to make profit?
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned Christie's sold that an NFT associated with a piece of art for
63 mil, baby.
Right, I think that was Beeple, the artist. Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, sold an NFT tied to his first tweet for nearly $3 million. So it all sounds kind of goofy, because it's not in real life until you go sort of check it out, and it is sort of alluring. It's just another way to collect or maybe have an attachment to an artist or something. In sports, the MLB is getting into this. The Topps is getting into this. Every swing of the bat really could have an NFT created to sell. Let's say when I was a kid, it would have been Sammy Sosa hits a home run, gives him the most home runs ever, and somebody could buy an NFT tied to that and say they've got the NFT for that particular video of Sammy Sosa hitting that home run, and then he could sell it to somebody else. The interesting thing about this, now, it's basically digital proof of authenticity. You buy an old painting from France or something, you get documentation that proves, the provenance, that proves where it's from, where it went over time to show that it's the original. This is that sort of thing electronically.
So just so I understand this, I get it that if I were to buy through this blockchain that the NBA has, if I buy a Ja Morant dunk, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And then Drew wants that, and I sell it to Drew, and I bought it. We'll make it up. I bought it for $10. I'm going to sell it to him for $50 because he wants it.
Yeah.
Okay, he buys it for $50. Where is the NBA getting in on this? How did they make $500 million in the last year off this thing?
It's a great question. So, in most cases, one of the really, I think, revolutionary things about NFTs is this smart contract that's associated with them. So the artist or the NBA or somebody creates something and sells it, they get paid the first time. And then in most cases, when they resell it, the original artist is going to get something like 10% of the sale next time around and continuing. So, this isn't a rule, but it is generally what's going on. And, it depends who's setting it up and who's doing it. But they're going to continue to mint money over there. Wow. I think not just in the NBA, but all over the place. And, it is going to work. But the question is, what somebody paid $65 or whatever $1 million for 5 years from now, is anybody else going to really think it's still got that value, or is this just a fad? I don't think we really know, although this does have a lot of momentum. It's all tied up in the cryptocurrency world, and
right.
Usually
I don't understand that either.
Yeah, another show we may have you explain what bitcoins are, because I still don't get that.
I've watched documentary after documentary, and I still can't get it.
Yeah, this is mainly driven by Ethereum is the crypto like Bitcoin, but it's a different cryptocurrency that's used for NFTs mostly. So it is sort of the next step. You got to get into cryptocurrency first, and then this. And I think the early movers are going to have some advantage for sure. But one of my clients, just yesterday I talked to, sold some digital art that he created. He made 500 of one thing, and it sold out, and they already started reselling. So he's made, hundreds of thousands of dollars instantly. And this is a kid, basically.
Off of one creation, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
A series of things. But it's amazing.
It really isn't. I'm trying to wrap my head around all this stuff, and you brought up how it's kind of like art that you get a certificate of authenticity, and as long as there's been art, there's been copycats, there's been knockoff type of art pieces that don't come with that certificate. But with this NFT and it all being digital, is counterfeits and knockoffs a big concern with kind of watering down the market just due to the fact that, say, I buy one of these things, and I'm just going off of what I understand. This could be completely wrong. I download this thing, and then I decide that I'm going to make 100 copies of it, but only one has this certificate to it, and I've now saturated the market with this one NFT. Is that a concern, and how do they keep track of that in the blockchain of the real ones to the fake ones to keep people from just making duplicates?
It's a great question. There are unlimited copies of anything digital, really.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's not really let's say, a video of a slam dunk. It's not really that video first of all, you don't own the video anyway. All you own is a token that says you have some sort of ownership affiliated with the original. But anybody can have a copy of it. It's really about the owning part of it, not about seeing it, because anybody can see it pretty much anywhere. You can go on ESPN and see it. It's not about that. It's just about creating scarcity, creating something that nobody else can say that they have. So, but to your point, even NFTs can be stolen. Or you've got to be really careful. This is a brave new world. But it's not about getting to see it. It's about that ownership piece. So this is really, I think, geared towards collectors, people who are fans of particular things, or artists, or athletes, whatever the case may be. So you got to kind of get your head in the right place to even understand what they're trying to do.
It's not really for the common man. It's not for someone like me that might just want to go buy a baseball card. It's more of somebody that kind of has disposable income that likes to buy stuff just to say they have it, right? Is that what it boils down to?
I think so for now. It might mature as a market and get easier. Like pretty much anybody can go buy Bitcoin now. It's getting simpler, easier to understand. This might go like that, but it's still, even now the big banks don't really let you buy Bitcoin through them or through financial institutions. So that'll get easier. This might be next in line, I suppose, but it's probably not for you, Dave, at this moment.
I'm beginning to get that, unless I knew of something that was coming out that I could get the NFT on, be the first one.
You should create your own. Now, Dave, you can create your own NFTs and put them into one of these marketplaces. You mentioned...
Could we do that with audio tapes?
Absolutely. Clips from your show.
What are we doing? We're sitting on a gold mine then here.
Yes, there you go.
You are.
We're sitting on a gold mine.
Your fans will determine if it's fool's gold or not.
There you go. Well, you've always steered me to the real gold, not the fool's gold, Ben Cohen. I thank you for that explanation. I don't know that I totally grasped this whole thing.
I learned more.
But I have a better understanding of it for sure, and we thank you.
That's a win.
All right.
Thanks,
Talk
Ben.
to you soon. Thank you.
You bet. Bye-bye.
Ben Cohen with Raymond James in Chicago. That was a good explanation. I really enjoyed that.
And I think I just summed it up. From what I basically learned is it's mostly just the rich man who likes to have the fancy piece of art on his wall that'll look at once, just likes to say he has it.
Being a collector is exactly what this NFT stuff is, and the Warriors, by the way, again, are the very first ones to have launched a program on OpenSea platform that involves the non-fungible token, or better known as the NFT. Here's something that is for sure, and I've been talking about it for years. James Davis Men's Store, I think the most quality, the best place to go if you're a man looking for clothes. And they're the only place in town that has the Stant Perfect Fit shirts. And now the Stant system is perfect for pants. You know the drill. With shirts, it's 3 measurements. Believe it or not, 2 measurements fed into a computer, and somehow it comes up with the perfect pant for you. The leg, the seat, the bottom, all fit perfectly for your body. It's amazing. And they get it to you in about 2 weeks. There's 80 different fabrics to choose from. And I just want to tell you, just like the shirts, you're so comfortable and it looks so good. They started $165, but what the heck? It's worth it. I promise. And the only place you can get it, from my friends at James Davis Men's Store. They're always taking care of you in the Laurelwood Shopping Center. We take a quick time out. When we come back, believe it or not, it's going to be crunch time.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio. We are Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
Golf fans, breaking news. Just over the Mississippi Bridge in Marion, Arkansas. Come join Sports 56 to celebrate the grand opening of Cypress View Golf and Recreation, located just over the bridge at 303 Club Circle in Marion. Sports 56 will be live at Cypress View Friday, April 30th from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. Join Sports 56 Middays and Sports 56 Happy Hour as we give away tons of door prizes, including golf lesson gift cards and free rounds of golf, including cart. Check out Cypress View's new food menu as well. From Philly cheesesteak sandwiches, homemade fresh hand-patted burgers, and Nathan's hot dogs, flatbreads, quesadillas, summer salads, and more. So come hungry. Again, Sports 56 fans, come see us at Cypress View Golf and Recreation in Marion, Arkansas, Friday, April 30th from 10 until 3. Enjoy live sports talk, food, fun, and lots of door prizes. Cypress View Golf and Recreation in Marion, Arkansas. Put it on your calendar. Can't wait. Me, Greg, Johnny, we look forward to seeing you there.
You ever lie awake at night, can't sleep, not wanting to see what time it is because that's just going to keep you up? Tonight, try ZzzQuil Pure Z's all night. Unlike other sleep aids, our extended-release melatonin helps you fall asleep naturally and then slowly releases so you stay asleep longer through the night. It's non-habit-forming with no next-day grogginess. ZzzQuil Pure Z's all night, so you can fall asleep and stay asleep. Available at retailers near you.
Mid-South Hobbies has your favorite model airplanes, boats, race cars, and trains to build. With brands you know like Lionel, LGB, and a large selection of Traxxas radio-controlled trucks, cars, and boats. Mid-South Hobbies has all the accessories to make them complete, with thousands of paint colors to make them shine. Reach the sky with rockets and kites, or reach deep into your imagination with action figures, comic book superheroes, and fantasy quest games. Get passionate about your hobby at Mid-South Hobbies. 4862 Summer Avenue, open 7 days a week. Call 901-682-9402.
The Jeep Celebration in Ram Truck Month is still going strong at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. Check out 2021 Jeep Renegade Sport, $22,490 or $287 a month. Command the road in your 2021 Dodge Charger XST. We Gossett at $29,499 or $394 a month. And if you're ready for some adventure, 2021 Fiat 500 X-Pop all-wheel drive, $21,990 or $279 a month. And they're not leases, you own them. We Gossett all at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike, so drive past the rest and come to the best. 1901 Covington Pike, or shop online, GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Almost financed through Chrysler, all 3,500 cash down, 75 months at 4.11 APR. Renegade MPM 44,788, MSRP 26,240, Charger MH5 12,542, MSRP 32,860, 500X MP 88,7786, MSRP 26,830. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/30/21 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Final portion of this Tuesday edition of Sports Time is brought to you by Grind City Brewing and that great product called Tiger Tail, the official craft beer of the University of Memphis. It is a malt liquor. I know you've heard me say that. It is not your father or your grandfather's malt liquor. This is new. It's craft beer. And this Grind City Brewing is such a good deal. If you haven't been to the brewery yet in Midtown, you'll love what you see there. You'll love the tap room, 5,000 square feet, beautiful views, and the products are so good, including Tiger Tail. And it used to be the Tiger Tail, which is really crafted with a bold and a smooth flavor. It's got this clean finish that makes it about as easy drinking a beer as I have ever had. The only place you could get it was at the brewery. Then they expanded it more and they started selling it in spirit shops. Now it's so popular and so good that you can get it at Kroger. And it comes in 16-ounce six-packs. It's got 7.5% alcohol, so be careful. But it is really, really a wonderful product. It has taken the city by storm. Just check it out at Kroger. Tiger Tail and Grind City Brewing. They've been taking care of beerness in Memphis. It is now officially crunch time.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is for all the biggest crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello,
Boop!
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
All one. Odd two. Odd three. Hey!
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day.
Drew, I learned today. I learned a lot of things. We were just talking about NFT, and we were talking about old collections. How about this? LeBron James rookie card today. There's like 23 of these that are in perfect condition. Some say they'll go as high as $10 million eventually.
Wow.
Today, $5.2 million for his 2003-4 Upper Deck card. It broke the record of Luka Doncic's, whose went in 2018-19 card, went for $4.6 million. So he beat him out today. But there will be a day one of those guys will end up getting for their rookie card, or a collector will.
Who already spent that kind of money on Luka's card?
5.2 for LeBron, 4.6 for Luka. We also learned today the Tigers have 11 scholarships because Tyler Harris agreed to come as a walk-on, at least for now. And how about this? The Grizzlies PR just put out for their game tomorrow against Portland, no injuries.
Hey, back to
Second
back.
game in a row, no injuries. Last thing that I learned today, this just came from a tweet from Major League Baseball. 70% of the players on the field, the staff, and support personnel have had at least one vaccine. 70%. Folks, we're moving up in the world.
That is great to hear. Well, I learned today that after the Orioles beat the Yankees last night with Matt Harvey on the mound, 4-2, the O's, they might be building something special out there on West Camden Street. They're 10-12. John Means is second in the American League in ERA with 1.5.
What did you say they are?
10-12.
They're 2 games under 500, and you're
building
growing?
Building
You're
something.
Growing?
You're growing.
Oh,
John Means is the second.
Crowing about growing.
They
Wow.
are second. He's second in the American League in ERA with a 1.50 ERA. Cedric Mullins leads the MLB in hits with 31. He also had 2 home runs last night in that win over the Yankees. He's 7th overall in batting average with a 365 average. And Cesar Valdez leads the American League in saves with 5. Maybe a little Orioles magic happening. I like it. I like it, Dave.
Well, you know what?
I'm
Orioles,
feeling it.
They're in 4th place in their division.
It's
2
not
games under 500.
It's not last, though.
But crazy things have happened because you know who's got the best record in baseball?
The Kansas City Royals.
The Kansas City Royals have the best record in baseball. I could have done without these 2 stories. One, we just found out while this show was on the air about an hour ago. Yadier Molina, the Cardinals Hall of Fame catcher, probably. Yadi on the 10-day IL. He has a strained right leg lower extremity issue. And that is not good for a guy who's going to be 39 years old in a couple of months. And also, I agree with what you could have done without it is what I could clearly have done without was your not top story. The home run derby is going to end games in the Pioneer League. Thank goodness it's the Pioneer League.
And not Major League Baseball.
Home run derby to end a game. Man.
Rob Manfred's crazy enough to try it.
Well, he may be. He actually may be crazy enough to do that. I will keep your story you could have done with that?
That's basically what I could have done without.
Okay.
It's just so crazy. And, I mean, the fact that Rob Manfred is definitely not only encouraging the Pioneer League to do it, but for sure greenlighting it just goes to show another reason why Rob Manfred hates baseball.
We're going to watch some baseball tonight, including the Cardinals and the Phillies in about a half an hour. Cubs and the Braves on in 15 minutes, starting right now on ESPN. The Red Sox and the Mets. There's basketball on TNT. The Mavericks and the Warriors. I don't know who to be for. Probably the Mavericks. Or you're chasing both. But you're trying to stay ahead of one team and you're chasing the other. So there's plenty to watch this evening. We want to thank Brent Beard for being with us today. Ron Tillery, always insightful there. And it was fun talking to Bo, and I learned a lot from our financial analyst, Ben Cohn. We'll do it tomorrow. See you then.
Jeff Allen, my man, what's happening over at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
All I can say, Randy, it's the right time to buy your